Hey guys, and welcome to the ultimate showdown, the great clan war between clan DBD and clan NK. Should be some fun stuff indeed. Haven't done a clan war in quite some time, and just waiting for the boys to pop in. But we are going to have Papa Palpatine, Capt Tellus, and Geese Howard representing DBD, facing off up against Leviatano, Nero, and Dragon Knight. Should be some good stuff indeed. Please do let me know of the stream quality here. Had some worrying signs on YouTube side, but it looks like it's all in HD. Cool, perfect. Anyway, hope you guys are doing all good. We are cross-streaming as usual, which is tradition, but we should have some good fun games, and good to see you guys here. Hey, bud. Looks like he is here representing. For those who don't know, NK is an Italian clan, and I actually got a lot of Italian friends that I made through Warhammer, so it's always good to see these guys in action. So I'm going to let them know what the maps are, which they're going to be Troll Country, as is tradition, to start us off, and then going to be followed by Amaxon River and Dwarf Outskirts. It should hopefully be a nice mixture of different size maps. With Papa P to pick and ban first. Cool. So we'll just get this stuff sorted, guys, and I'll get talking to you. What's up, Bob Tresh? What's up, Grox? Caps Tellus, the hero. Hope you guys are doing all good today. Cool, just let those guys know what the maps are and the pick and ban. We're going to be playing standard tournament rules, banner rules, as we have done now for a considerable amount of time. And it's going to be a free best of three. So each best of three in this clan war is going to be worth 1 point. So that way there is no chance of a draw here. But it should be some good fun stuff. Clan wars is definitely something I'm trying to push a bit more in the future when I get back to consistently streaming. And yeah, we're going to try and get DBD as well as DBD and Extreme Meme Team kind of team-ups going against different clans. So it should be some good stuff. So this was all sorted out as well by Park Map, who's a member of DBD with Italian connections as well. And he kind of set up this clan war. So massive shout out to him. He kind of put in the work. I'm just here to commentate and have a good time. How are you guys? Welcome, Francesco. Hopefully I'm not going to butcher all the Italian names today. I see Von is here as well. Von Arcadius, who actually had a really cool replay up on the channel this morning. Cool. Looks like Papa Palpatine is going Chaos. No surprise there. Papa Palpatine is the resident Chaos player for DBD, an incredibly talented one as well. Easily, I'd say, in the top 3 Chaos players in the game right now. Probably along with Halo and Zero, I think, are both the other two kind of big Chaos players. But it looks like he's going Chaos, banning Vampire Counts and Vampirates, so clearly not a fan of the Undead Forces. And it looks like we're going to see some High Elves here, but on Troll Country, which is quite a small map, it's going to be interesting to see how the High Elves do cope with the Chaos Rush, which I assume is going to be coming here. Very good kind of overwhelming the High Elf lines all round. Tilia is here, yes! Man, Tilia is so cool. You guys are real champs. I can't even remember. I think it was Ronan who first introduced me to the Tilia crew, who are kind of the Italian Total War community. But they always command support. Always a great group of people as well, and have some great Italian content creators as well. I know Samurai Warrior has a channel as well. I featured on his channel as well. Actually, played him a couple of times. Really cool dude. Hello, Nikolai, Lorenzo. 2 different Lorenzos. And Vexus. Hope you guys are all good in the herd as we do prepare here. Nice little warm up, and we're getting action. I'm set to go. Got my cranberry juice and excited. Troll Country is a map which I love to have at the start of a stream, as it's a real blood and thunder affair straight away into deep of the action. So these guys kind of hack each other apart. There's not too much room to manoeuvre and skirmish, but there's enough that you know, if you've got incredible micro, you can still kind of pull off a bit more of a skirmish build, but you will often be pushed into the corner. For those guys who have just joined here, welcome, welcome. Oh, I should probably actually get up a scoreboard, shouldn't I? Let's get up a little scoreboard. Yeah, if I can find one. I definitely have one somewhere. Where have you gone? There you are. Boop. I'm going to change this to DBD. And NK, which I believe stands for Necropolis. And DBD obviously stands for Death Before Dishonor. Cool, and we have the little timer there, which unfortunately I can't get rid of. I really need to sort out a proper bracket at some point, but hopefully that timer will count us down to something cool. Looks like the guys are good to go. So let's hop in here and see who's going to spill first blood in the mighty clan war. So 3 best of 3s is, I think, a pretty solid format. Normally in clan wars we have a few more players playing, and we do kind of like best of 1s, maybe some 2v2s as well, and maybe even a 3v3 at the end. That does sometimes form a little bit of internet problems, connecting that many players together in one go. So I'm actually quite a big fan of you just represent 3 champions to go up against each other in best of 3s, but we'll certainly experiment with the format going forward with different clan wars. And hopefully, because most of these guys will be in Europe, the internet connections should be all fine. So, for the forces of the mighty Papa Palpatine, the Dark Lord himself, he has gone for a bad to the bones, hardcore build here. This is the best way to play Chaos, in my opinion. In the front line, it looks like they're going to be darting all around the place. We do have a mixture of Chaos Marauders, so 3 of those bad boys. Pretty good value for money overall. Relatively cheap and cheerful, but can chew through Spearmen and the like with deadly efficiency. And then we have triple Chosen with great weapons. This is, you can't get much more hardcore than a Chosen with a great weapon. Coming in with massive armor piercing, and I'm a big fan of the great weapon variant here over halberds and the like. They have enough AP, they can punish cav and large monsters, and they're still chew through infantry very quickly. We have a Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows coming in with Pendulum and Enfeebling Foe, and of course Kolek Suneater, the absolute beast, and he's going to be bringing the Star Crusher, which turns him into an absolute powerhouse. Apart from that, we do have a little bit of skirmish. Double Marauder Horsemasters on this right-hand flank are going to be assisting some Chaos Knights and some Chaos Warhounds with poison, who no doubt are going to try and sneak into the back line. Now for the forces of the High Elves here, in the main battle line we have a mixture of White Lions of Trace here, who are kind of popped a little bit further forward, and then Silver and Guard, one of the best kind of bang for your buck units. Very efficient, hold the line for an absolute age, and allow the rest of the build to kind of do some real damage. And for the rest of the build, we have Illyrian Reaver Archers. It looks like 1 unit on either flank, both supported by War Lines. I'm a massive fan of War Lines. One, they look incredibly cool, and they do pretty decent damage. We have the Fireborn and Dragon Princes in the back line, supporting Alariel the Radiant, who of course has Earthblood, Fast Protection, and Star of Avalon. So really looking for those Dragon Princes to be the hammer, and the Silver and Guard there to build that be the anvil. Should be some good stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how the Chosen perform up against the cavalry. They should be able to perform pretty good up against the infantry corps here. Marauder Horsemasters are pushing forward a little bit. Looks like Dragon Princes are going to be floating over as well, and they'd love a good tussle with the Chaos Knights. But the front line is about to engage here, and Chosen with great weapons are going to tear apart White Lions. And it looks like Kolek has popped in the front line as well. Let's see, these are glorious Chosen going toe-to-toe with Silver and Guard. Now, Silver and Guard will hold for a time, but especially on the charge, Chosen are pretty scary. Over on this other flank, though, Chaos Marauders have been absolutely hammered by a combination of Silver and Guard and War Lines. Good play so far by Levitano. I'm going to have to double-check his name afterwards, so I want to butcher it there. Silver and Guard take a massive pendulum, though, to the face, which is pretty nasty. And Chosen are going to be piling in, doing pretty good along the front line, really pitting the High Elves down here. Silver and Guard somehow end up on the other side here of the Marauders as they go toe-to-toe. And for the cavalry engagement, however, the High Elves seem to be doing pretty damn good. Chaos Knights are surrounded now by Dragon Princes who are getting help from the Star, as well as these War Lines, and the Hounds have been butchered and forced off, and it looks like even the Horsemasters have been caught a little bit, although they are going to tear apart some Illyrian Reavers for their troubles there. So it looks like for the most part Chaos winning the infantry fight pretty comfortably, but High Elves certainly winning the mobility game here. But if these Illyrian Reavers get forced off, that'd be pretty bad news as well for the High Elves. Illyrian Reaver Archers going toe-to-toe with more of the Horsemasters. Looks like they may have just been chucked in there to try and deal as much damage as possible, and somehow these Chaos Knights are standing firm. Only 4 kills, but they've pinned in a lot of troops who could be used to kind of help out in this main battle line. I think at this point, once the Chaos does clear up the infantry corps, they really need to bunch together and kind of hold the line and prepare for the cavalry onslaught which is to come. Kolek has popped in, saying hello to these little kitty cats, and he's going to hammer them down pretty bad. They are indeed terrified here. And the Chosen looking pretty healthy into the late game here. Looks like Alien Reaver Archer's going to be getting some decent value, though. Shooting into the back of Chosen is always quite a good thing. Chaos Marauders going toe-to-toe with Silver and Guard as well. Should be able to drag them down with the amount of health they have currently, as more Chaos Marauders do just chase off their opponent. And it looks like the Chosen are going to be kind of trying to group up a little bit and form a bit of a Helm's Deep here. Chaos Sorcerer Shadows does fall back. Alien Reavers are pressuring, but they're going to need to save the ammunition. They really need to hammer down at the Chosen where possible. And it looks like some unbraced Chosen are going to get absolutely lanced here by the double Dragon Princes, which is pretty scary stuff. If the Chosen can get back up and fight, they'll certainly do some huge damage. And it looks like Kolek has popped in with Star Crusher as well. Going to be slaying a lot of models, but an Overcast Earthblood, keeping them relatively healthy, although the Chosen are starting to go into their Butcher's work as well. These other Chosen really need to kind of bunch up and go over there and support. Alien Reaver Archers continue to do damage, and it looks like in the distance, Mordor Horsemasters have actually managed to out-kite Alien Reavers and some White Lions. Now you can come back and put a little bit of pressure on the enemy here. But at the moment, it looks like Chaos is in the ascendancy, as Star Crusher, combined with an enfeebling foe on the Fireborn, is butchering these men. Force Protection has gone down, but I don't think it's going to help at this point, as the Chosen, a real cool pick. I don't think Chosen are picked anywhere near enough by Chaos players, and they're certainly paying their dues here. Chaos Knights have somehow remained on the battlefield, despite the fact of being absolutely wrecked earlier, hunting down Alarielle, who does have all the buffs in the world, but she does not want to tangle with Kolek at any cost here. We do have a Pendulum coming down, doing some okay damage to Alien Reavers, a little bit of friendly fire as well, but at this point I think Chaos are pretty much guaranteed to the victory here, as most of the Hell Forces have kind of been driven off. Alarielle is the last bastion of hope. Unfortunately, those Dragon Princes were simply not enough for the Chosen and Kolek combination. There is some still going strong here with a Star of Avalon. Unfortunately for them, they're kind of shock cap. They want to be, bouncing between engagements. But to get the full value from the Star of Avalon, he's having to stay in combat up against Great Weapon Chosen, which is certainly not something you want to do. And these guys are going to be hacking the Dragon Princes to death. And that is going to be game one to Papa Palpatine there. Well played to both of those chaps. Awesome builds. I'm a big fan of that Chaos build. And Papa Palpatine certainly knows all matchups basically for Chaos. Chosen 94, 97 and 127 kills. They're basically effective against everything in this higher faction. So really nice solid pick there all round. As for Leviatano, I'm loving the Warline play. One unit didn't get quite so much value, but the other unit, 43 kills, helped smash that right-hand flank and win the cavalry engagement. But it really came down to the fact the mobility didn't have enough kind of punch in the end to deal with all that swarms of infantry. GG, well played. Awesome builds. So we are now going to be on River and Maxon next. So guys, would you like me to keep the scoreboard as an overall scoreboard? So just between DBD and NK. So at this point it's still 0-0 on there, despite the fact Palpatine has a win. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just score a point for each game rather than each round, because it still won't make a difference overall in the total score. Whoever wins 2 rounds or 3 rounds would win, but that way we can at least keep track of who's ahead in each game and stuff. So we'll do that for now. And River and Maxon it is. Cool. We'll let these guys start our matchups and I'll chill out with you for a while. What's up, Stormrunner? Yeah, I think Chosen Great Weapons are a recipe for getting sistered to death. Yes, that is a big problem. And he didn't have too much backline pressure either, Papa Palpatine. He had the Knights and the Hounds, but nothing too crazy. So sisters there could have been pretty scary. But yes. Hello, yes. What a name. Cool Chosen build. I agree 100%. What's up, Emmanuel? We have Darth Pendragon in here as well. Nice to see you guys around. Hey, and we have Goose. Or Geese. Geese Howard. Going by the name Petersburg, which is pretty interesting. Malverde, 100%, bud. If you could do that, that would be crazy. That would be very cool indeed, if you could make a duck scoreboard. No pressure, man, but if you want to. Definitely. Hope you guys are enjoying. If you are, by the way, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I know I say that a little bit too much, but it really does help kind of push the stream to more people. Boop. To pick and ban. Just let him know it's his choice to pick and ban. I will make it happen. What a hero. What a hero. We'll hopefully be doing a best of 5 on the channel as well at some point over the next couple of weeks between Grombrindle and Sergeant Spaghetti, which should be some good fun. So there's going to be more streams. Gosh. So we've got some more streams on the way as well. Shame we can't make a ducks up button. That'd be pretty cool. I think you can do that kind of stuff a bit more on Twitch, but I'm about the YouTube life at the moment. There's a few problems with their streaming services overall, but it's pretty good. Hey, the man, the myth, the legend, the constant MVP, Desert Fox. How are you, buddy? Watching over lunch. Ah, are you at work at the moment? Don't touch my spaghetti. That's going to be Grombrindle's job. Those guys are really evenly matched and two good friends, and they've sent a load of replays up against each other. So I was like, guys, we'll just do it live. Do it live on the channel. Should be cool. We're going to be starting the Death Before Dishonored Tournament series up again this week, but I knew there was going to be a Ever Chosen like a midweek stream at some point, so I'm just saving it till all those kind of qualifiers are over, so we don't clash tournaments with anyone else. It looks like Levertano is still going to be deciding. Don't worry, guys, if you are new here, this is the first of 3 best of 3s. We have Palpatine currently facing off 1-up against Levertano. And after this, we have Capt Tellus. I've written down Capt Duck because I'm so used to his Discord name, but Capt Tellus, let's correct that, is going to be taking on Nero, and then Geese Howard against Dragon Knight. I'm loving the NK names here. They got some really badass names. So, it looks like he's going to be going Empire here. It's going to be interesting to see what Papa Palpatine does pick. He is a hardcore Chaos player, but now they're out of the way, it's going to be interesting to see what his second and third factions are. Ah, you're in the Scotland League as well. So am I, Desert Fox. How likely is a Dwarf Mirror? I'm praying there is no Dwarf Mirror in that matchup, Stormrunner, but we will definitely see some Dwarfs. Your name is Grey Geese, Howard. It is fantastic. Yes, so each round, there's 3 best of 3s, Malverde. And I'm just going to score each game, because I don't think it'll actually make a difference, because I was just going to score each round, but it's cooler, you know, to have a higher score, I suppose. So, he's gone Empire, Band, Beastmen, and Dowie. And it looks like Palpatine is going Dark Elves. Pretty cool matchup, this one. There's a few ways you can play it. Palpatine sticking to the evil factions here. And Levertano with the good factions, which is quite cool and thematic. I feel like Karl Franz can be an absolute nightmare for the Dark Elves here. He can go toe-to-toe with pretty much all their lords. It depends if Dark Elves kind of go skirmish and whittle him down with bowfire. But River Maxon, you can close the gap relatively quickly. There's also a lot of trees kind of dotted around. Who is in DBD? Well, there's a ton of people in DBD. I think there's like 10 to 12 members maybe, but active members, we probably have about 9, I think, active Total War members. So there's myself, actually ends up creating the clan a little while ago. Then we have people playing today. We've got Palpatine, Captellus, Geese Howard, we have Poison Ducky, Ninja Pinvin, Park Map. We have a ton of people. Stormrunner, of course, in chat as well, so there's a lot of people. What's up, Scourge of the West? We had a cool game the other day, I believe. How are you, man? Chaos are the good guys, though. I suppose it's a matter of perspective. Matter of perspective, indeed. But yeah, and DBD has kind of like fused in a way. We've become sister clans with Extreme Meme Team. I'm sure you've heard of those guys before. So sometimes we operate under the name Extreme Meme Ducks or Extreme Duck Memes. As well, and can kind of enter tournaments as a kind of joint force if we want, or you can represent your own clans. It's kind of just a cool way of basically making everyone chill out together, which I think is a really cool idea. That was Mr. Falcon's idea. Brought the 2 clans close together. I cannot root for Empire. Cap, tell us. You're a DBD at heart, bro. Adelmo, yes, your shirt arrived. I would love to see a picture of it, man. That'd be really cool. Luckily, all the shirts have arrived now. I've spoke to some of the guys in America because their shirts were arriving a little late. Unfortunately, I think it may just be because of the virus. Unfortunately, everything's slowed down even more. I'm already sending them out from the UK, so it was really going to take a while. But yes. But yeah. If people are interested, I'm not kind of going to push it that often, but I do Rubber Ducker War shirts. If you're interested, just PM me on a Discord. But I'll probably do another giveaway and kind of push for them when I hit 2,000 subs. The XMD malarkey. Yeah, it was real messy the way we did it, because basically Falcon just messaged me. He's like, hey, I've done something really cool. Check the Extreme Meme Team Discord. And all of a sudden all the DBD guys had been dumped in their chat. Which was really funny, but it's really cool. It's allowed us to make a load of friends and just chill out, basically. Which is yeah, what the game is about. So, for the forces of Papa Palpatine in the Ascendancy here, just needs one more win to manage to win this round. Looks like he's got a pretty cool build overall. We have a Supreme Sorceress of Beasts on horseback here. Papa Palpatine, big fan of his Sorcerer Lords. Come with Arcane Conduit, Opal Amulet, of course the Manticore Summon, and Flock of Doom. And it's a good way of kind of getting good value, because now you no longer have to get Hero Caster as well. For the front line, we of course have Dreadspears mixed in with Black Arc Corsairs here, including the Helabroni, so relatively cheap front line, although the Black Arc Corsairs can do some okay damage. We have the more elite troops being deployed in a secondary battle line. Blackguard of Nagarond are going to be flanking Witch Elves, as well as Sisters of Singing Doom. So, really cool, strong infantry force. It seems like Palpatine likes to go for those quite a lot, but he still has a ton of cavalry as well. Triple Dark Riders with shields are going to be running protection for double Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, as well as a Scourge Runner chariot. Pretty cool, well-balanced build, in my opinion. Looks like we also have something hidden over here. Oh, it's just more Dark Riders. Now, for the forces of the Empire trying to scrap their way back into this set, we have Flagellants in the front line. Unbreakable troops will hold for, of course, ever. We have Spearmen on either flank, as well as some great swords. Yes, what a man of the people. I love seeing great swords in action. They're so badass. But you never really get to see them too often. He has a bow line, in fact, so we have triple crossbowmen. What is this? I don't get to see this often at all. I almost always see handgunners or huntsmen. So triple crossbowmen. And more spearmen as well for protection. We have one great cannon and double Reichsguard. One being the Zintler's Reichsguard, Regiment of Renown, and one being double Silver Chevron. This is a bad to the bones cavalry contingent led by an Arch Lector here. Coming in with Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Hammer of Sigma. Really cool stuff all round. We have a Jade Wizard as well with Earthblood and Shield of Thorns. This is a really cool Empire build. Certainly coming in with some different kind of forces I haven't seen before. Looks like the boys are ready. Who are you rooting for, guys? Oh, the Park Gorilla, yes. DBD and NK are two clans. So DBD is Death Before Dishonor, a clan which I'm also part of, and NK is Necropolis, I believe. And they're an Italian clan. And we're having a little showdown here. So the Dark Elves are going to be pushing forward here. Going through the trees rather wisely, trying to save some of their elite infantry away from that great cannon, who is unleashing some shots, and it looks like it's going straight for the Dark Riders, who are currently not mobile, so they're taking a few shots here, and that's going to be pretty painful, as Dark Riders are a good counter to the cavalry contingent. Should be able to shoot them down with their armor piercing. Looks like we actually have double Empire Knights I somehow managed to miss as well. So 4 units of cavalry, led by an Arch-Lector, can certainly hammer this infantry force if they do effective cycle charge in here. Although Sisters of Singing Doom, of course, could rampage the enemy and get them into the Black Guard, which would be pretty terrible for them. Over on the other flank, we have a very sneaky unit of Dark Riders making their way through the trees. At this point, what Palpatine is going to probably try to do is overload with this right-hand flank, draw out the Knights to the main battle line, and then hit home with the Dark Riders into that back line. Squadron Chads are going to be moving along now. Dark Riders taking the long approach. Don't want to take too much damage, and good patient push, really, overall. so far from Palpatine, and good reactions as well coming in by the Empire here. Flagellants are running for the hills before turning around to engage here. Both these guys are pretty damage dealers. It's going to be interesting to see who does win here. Probably no one. They're probably just going to both slaughter each other quite a lot. The Empire Knights ambush has been unveiled here, but they are going to be falling back as the spearmen do approach as well to kind of try and drive them off. Looks like Supreme Sorceress is doing some magic somewhere, as a Manticore is indeed summoned, and the front line does get underway. Looks like the Dark Rise have revealed their position, but it's going to be a big decision now for the Empire if they keep their Empire Knights back for protection or do indeed push forward. That is a lot of crossbow fire coming into the Black Guard and the Witch Elves, taking a huge amount of work, and the Dark Elves really need to push into that back line. Hidden in the trees, though, there's a big engagement going down. Sisters of Singing Doom trying to rampage these Empire Knights. They don't have the best kind of contact here. We're also having an overcast Earthblood to keep those guys nice and healthy. Witch Elves getting absolutely annihilated here by crossbows, although it looks like the Manticore has popped into the back line, trying to shut down the Jade Wizard at the same time. The Dark Rise do drive in, and this is a dead Great Cannon. I don't think, unless the Reiksguard peel over really quickly, this Great Cannon's pretty much done for. It looks like they may be popping over, though, to approach. Over on this flank, Scourge Runner Chariot has been hit by the Zintler's Reiksguard. They're going to quite happily deal with that. And the Dark Elves certainly are struggling in the early stages here, as Great Swords have pushed into the Hellebroni and will do some massive damage. Blackguard taking a ton of crossbow fire, trying to pull back for now until the crossbows are dealt with. And Dark Rise have now returned back to the field, doing some good Overwatch fire onto the Greatswords. As for the battle in the trees, it looks like Spearmen have a rampage, and this is a really key engagement right here, but the Supreme Sorceress has caught herself up against the Arch-Lector, popping all his buffs. He's annihilating her. Manticore Summon has gone off, that perhaps can swing the engagement back, but the Supreme Sorceress has gone down here. Blackguard is fighting against Empire Knights, but Grand Shield of Faith is popped on them. One of them has indeed rampage, and that could possibly be double dead knights if they stick there against the Blackguard. Manticore really needs to get some good damage on this Arch-Lector to get the Dark Elves back into this game, as their front line has kind of folded at this point. Blackheart Corsairs, though, are pushing into the back line, so good pressure coming in from the Dark Elves despite the early losses. Empire Knights, though, wonderful kind of counter-punch, driving back, and, or Zinner's Reiksguard, in fact, and running over the Black Arc Corsairs. Dark Rise need to push up a little bit more, but it looks like they are currently trying to focus down the Great Swords and get those elite infantry off the field. And it looks like the Great Cannon has got back into action, just popping back on top of their artillery pieces. And at this point, they still have all three models, so their damage output is going to be pretty fantastic. Jade Wizard managed to survive that Manticore, which is very good news for the Empire. However, the Arch-Lector is now completely surrounded by Blackguard, and this could be a huge turning point. Manticore is still currently on the field, may not be here for very long, but if it can finish off that Arch-Lector, that is going to be huge. Empire Knights have managed to survive, and there's so many Empire kind of running around at this point. Arch-Lector has been rampaged, meaning he can no longer use any of his buffs, and the Blackguard will easily do a number over on him. There's still some Blackguard alive as well, but Dark Elves having to pull back at this moment and try and find other avenues into the back line. A lone Scourge Runner Chariot is starting to float back, and could put some pressure on crossbowmen and at least drag away some of the enemies. Dark Rise have managed to break free from the trees, and if they can loop up and around here, they could put some good pressure on the cannon and the crossbow troops all round. Arch-Lector is running for the hills, but it doesn't look like the Dark Elves are going to be able to finish him off at this point. Empire Knights have been rampaged, and the Blackguard fighting in the trees are more than happy to fight all these Empire Knights, and they'll dump them pretty quickly overall, as Dread Spears do hold off Reiksguard as well. There are some Blackguard alive here, but they're pushing directly into crossbowmen fire, so I don't think they're going to make it very far here. There's a decent amount of ammunition left on all the crossbowmen, and not really many tools left, unfortunately, for the Dark Elves to put pressure on them. There is double Dark Riders, who could perhaps be used late game to kind of loop up and around. It looks like these poor Dark Riders did get caught there by the Zintlers, who are very quick and coming in here up to 91 kills. Good cavalry play so far, but the Empire has put them in good standing. Empire Knights are being forced off in all directions, but at this point there's nothing left to chase them down. The Arch-Lector will most likely be able to rally here as well. Dark Rise do decent damage to the Great Swords, but the crossbowmen have been a surprising but very good pick all round. Decent kills across the board, and they're pretty cheap compared to other ranged options. At this point, army losses is settling in. That is going to be a win for the forces of NK there, so we're going to be bringing it 1-1. That was awesome stuff. So 1-1 so far in this first best of 3 as Lizardmen strikes back. Really interesting game. Good stuff all around by both players. Archlector really managed to hammer down the Supreme Sorcerer. She did get both her Manticore summons off, but losing her early on, or I suppose in the mid-game, really kind of neutered the effectiveness of the Dark Elves. And they took that big fight in the forest, which did ultimately go well for them, and they managed to beat back a lot of the Knights, but they committed so much of their forces there, the rest of their troops simply got picked apart here by the crossbow fire, as well as really nice cavalry play coming in by the Reiksguard. So GG. Yes, Palpatine saying nice use of crossbows. Those guys are a real secret MVP there, doing good stuff all round. We are now on Altdorf outskirts. So Lev Tarno to pick 3. Upper P bans 1 and picks. So we're just going to do the standard as if it's kind of a normal tournament rules. The Jedi did win this time, but the Sith shall return. What's up, Magnus? How's it going, buddy? Hope you're all good. GG indeed, that was pretty crazy. Hey, Sarge71, how's it going, man? Good to see you around. Meldrick, the Archlector does not suffer the witch to live. Yup. Cool. So, the Fire Tano is going to pick 3 factions and ban 1. Palpatine will counterpick and ban 1 as well. So, should be some good stuff. Let these boys sort that out and I'll just chill with you. What's up, Von Arcadius? Thank you for shouting out to the smash that like button. It certainly helps. I'm all good, Sarge. We're chilling. Having a good time. Glad to be back streaming and doing some Clan War action. And there's currently 1-1. Let's actually update the scoreboard. Not sure if I did that. I did not. So we are currently 1-1. And this is the first of 3 best of 3s. And after this we have Capt Tellus up against Nero. I think Nero may be making his debut on the channel here. And then we have Geese Howard up against Dragon Knight in the final fight. I'm really hoping it's super close Clan War and it goes right down to the wire to put the pressure on those guys. Geese Howard's one of those players who, I have no idea how he does this because it's the opposite of most players. Most people struggle a little bit on stream, tend to play a tiny bit worse just because of the pressure. But Geese Howard just plays so much better on stream. I don't understand it. He plays really good, always has some good games. Is it legal to take 2 rainbow birds? Are you speaking of the arcane phoenixes? I know you can take 2 of the like standard firebirdos. Just gonna check Discord, make sure we're all good. Looks like we're all good. I think, yeah. Cool. So I had a message, but it was nothing to worry about. So Levitano is going to pick Britonia, Dwarfs, and Lizardmen. What a interesting run of factions, I suppose. There, Britonia very fast and mobile for the most part. Dowie incredibly defensive, and Lizardmen. I never want to root against the DBD boys. Of course, I am one myself, but Lizardmen are the boys. No worries. Yeah, don't worry. No worries about Magnus. Elfarian can do okay. He's a little bit expensive, unfortunately. But he does do some pretty decent work all round. Gianfranco, how's it going, man? Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Nice to see you here. Cool. Same there, he gets 1 ban. I think that's a new rule that has been implemented. Palpatine brought up. But nice of him to bring it up considering it actually kind of pits him against him a little bit. He's going to be banning High Elves. So now what will happen is Palpatine will pick a faction, and he'll ban one of Britonia, Dwarfs, or Lizardmen, and then Leviatano will pick one of his 2 remaining factions. And that's what we'll be doing. Never seen him with Derry. Maybe it's a bluff. Maybe he's no intentions of picking them. He's shown to use cavalry really well so far. Seems to enjoy whipping cavalry around the flanks and getting those big engagements. So yeah, Dwarfs is interesting, but maybe he'll use gyrocopters and the like for a mobile core. Yeah, he can do a K-Magnus. Like, he's actually good, Eltharion. It's just price-wise he's not good. Which is a bit of a problem for a few units and characters in the game, unfortunately. Where, yeah, they're still viable, but there's just either other better options, or they just cost too much money. And unfortunately for Eltharion, he's kind of in both of those groups. He, there's Teclis, who's incredibly good, Lariel and the like, who are just very powerful. Oh, we have an old school grudge match here. Norska versus Empire is always an insane game. Palpatine certainly representing Chaos here. I wish he was also a Beastmen player, so he could represent the kind of 3 current Chaos forces in the game. I'm sure he's going to love Total War Warhammer 3 of all the demons and Chaos Dwarfs that be flooding out. But it looks like he is going to be going Norska, banning Dwarfs. Of course, we might not actually see Empire. What am I talking about? We have now the option of Britonia and Lizardmen. Confused me a little bit there by seeing the picture. It is going to be Britonia. Personally, oof, that's a tough one. Norska versus Lizardmen is really interesting and very close. I think it slightly favours the Lizardmen, as they have a few more options to deal with the Norskans. Britonia is pretty interesting. Thamir warriors with great weapons are absolute MVPs here, able to tear apart cavalry. One thing that I find the Norskans really struggle in this matchup is against the hero blob of Gotrek, the Fey Enchantress, and a Paladin. It's really tough for the Norskans to kill them, in my opinion. So I think we possibly could see them. Come on, Papa! Yes, let's get some support going for both these boys. Yeah, I mean, it's not lore that he could ride a giant phoenix, but I feel like he kind of could. Like, I don't know, from his lore, he seems powerful enough to, like, summon a phoenix or something. But yeah, it's never stated in there that he rides a phoenix, at least to my knowledge. My Warhammer lore knowledge is pretty old. I used to know a lot more about it, obviously, when I was younger. But I was actually, like, looking through just some pictures earlier of what I was going to use for a thumbnail. Warhammer lore is so goddamn cool. Both 40k and standard Warhammer. There's so much good stuff. Cool, we'll let these guys start their builds. Norska! So I did a thing as well. I don't know if I may upload it. I don't think I'm allowed to monetize it because it's definitely copyright. But I pit the music from Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice 2, the trailer music, which is this like real guttural, like Viking kind of like throat singing music. I put it over the Total Warhammer 2 trailer, and it makes the High Elves look like they're doing this like satanic ritual when they're looking at the vortex, and it looks really badass. I may upload it. I need to actually fully record it, but I've kind of got the timings down. Which reminded me there of the shout to Norska. Big fan of Vikings as well, being a Brit, so I would love to see. I always love to see Norska in action. Fuzzy lady! Do it! Do it, Anakin! Hope you're ready, geese! Or Petersburg as you currently go by. You're going to be up in round 3, expecting some Beastmen glory. Let's have a little sip of my drink here to keep my voice from dying. I have a really bad habit of getting sore throats, unfortunately. I think it's because I like... Sounds really weird. I noticed it the other day. I like tense my neck a lot, which is not ideal, but I'm working on it. It seems to be a lot better now anyway. So, for the force of Norska, as expected, we have Wulfric the Wanderer, in my opinion the best of the Norskan characters, up on top of a Mighty Mammoth, which can be a little risky in this matchup, but I think it is pretty much essential. He's coming, of course, with his Boat, Stand or Die, and Hunter Champions. To round off his hero core, we have a Shaman Sorcerer of Death coming with Purple Sun. Very interesting. And Spirit Leech. Hoping to see that Purple Sun in action. For his melee infantry, we have Marauder Champions. Mixing with Marauders as well. So 3 Marauders, 2 Champions. Really interested to see how these guys perform. Palpatine, a huge fan, it would seem, of kind of that heavy infantry core. He's had a Blackguard in the last round, as well as a Chosen with great weapons in the first. So big fan of these boys. He has as well gone for triple Famir Warriors, which I think is a must pick here. They're so good. And a little bit better than the Skinwolves here. So double normal great weapons, as well as the Miststalkers, who do indeed, I don't think everyone knows this, they actually come in with Armor Sundering, which gives them good utility up against Cav. We also have 1 unit of Norskan Ice Wolves to pressure the back line. And it looks like hidden over here we have the Beasts of Tashnar as well. And they're going to be needed to get into the back line and shut down arrows, because that is the main threat to this build all round. So for the forces here of Leviatano, I'm going to keep saying his name wrong, I do apologise in advance. He does have men-at-arms with polearms, interestingly, dotted around the flanks, and a centre force of Battle Pilgrims. I actually quite like the inclusion here of the polearms to do consistent damage to the Famir. And Battle Pilgrims as well should be able to go toe-to-toe with Marauders. I think the Champions will beat them down handily, however. We have 4 units of Peasant Bowmen as well, a mixture of pox and fire arrows there, so poison and fire. I like the inclusion of fire as well, of course, in case you come up against anything that regenerates. We have the Fey Enchantress, obviously, with Earthblood. And then we have a ton of Knights of the Realm, who are anti-large, of course. Actually, no, it looks like we have Knights of the Realm, the Companions, Regiment Round Questing Knights, and a ton of Knights Errant in the front line as well to try and hammer home the enemy. And Knights of the Lion-Hearted as well, so pretty kind of to be expected, I suppose. A ton of Cav and a load of Bowmen. Although the Battle Pilgrims, I'm really interested to see how these guys perform. They look pretty cool, honestly, and I wish we did get to see them a bit more. They're frenzy, but I don't think they're going to do too good up against Champions. So it is going to be a big old punch to the face build from the Norskans. Just a big hammer to come in and slam in. Looks like the Bretts really want to pop in here and do some nice cycle charging in the front, but it's pretty risky with the Famir here. Can still do some good damage, however. Ice Wolves do as well come in that Frostbite, so you have to be a little careful. You can get slowed down and then hammered home by Famir. Over on the flank, looks like Cav just pushing around. Beasts of Tashnar have started to move forward here. Going to play the long game, of course. And the Battle Pilgrims are about to charge headlong into these Champions. And the Champions with their Viking axes do swing strong. And it's going to be a bad day for the Pilgrims, I think. Wolfric does push forward, and of course he is the centre of attention, but a huge boat comes down, clipping 2 units of the Peasant Bowmen, doing fantastic damage. Are they going to break cover? No, they are going to rally here, and there is no pendulum here coming in from the forces of Norskas, which is what you often see. But yeah, that's some pretty big health damage. Still, a lot of troops remain for both forces, for both units though, so their damage output will still be the same. You see polearms unfortunately getting engaged with Champions rather than the forces they actually want to touch it. Looks like a big charge from the Companions does come in to the Marauders, and the Purple Sun does go right through them, but also cripples the Marauders as well. Probably a cost-effective trade, as the Companions take massive damage, and the Purple Sun almost goes through some men-at-arms as well. We're also getting a Spirit Leech down. Good 2 kind of punches there from the forces of Norska. Famir Warriors do go toe-to-toe with the Knights, who are anti-large, but there is double Famir, including the Miststalkers in there, which is pretty scary stuff. Wolfric has taken a ton of damage here, mainly due to the bowfire, but in the back line, Beasts of Tashnar do hunt down some peasants. And this is going to be interesting. So they're anti-large, they can do some decent damage to the Fae, and Hunter of Champions has been popped on her, but luckily for her, her brave Knights Errants flood back do rescue her, and it looks like 3 of the Peasant Bowmen still on fire here. Wolfric taking massive damage. He really needs to pull back as much as possible here and let his infantry kind of win the front line before going to engage. Mixture of Marauders and Marauder Champions do beat back Knights Errant. It looks like a lot of the Cav is running for the hills, but there's nothing to chase them down here, and Wolfric is getting pretty danger low. Still 3,000 health, but for him that's not looking too good. Famir Warriors are surrounded by men-at-arms with polearms, which is a bad setup for them. Marauder Champions are going strong as well. Wolfric's still trying to push through, perhaps trying to line up another boat maybe to try and finish off those bowmen. Oh, we do see the boat. Oh, this is some nasty stuff. Raking down the line, destroying those Knights of the Realm as well as Battle Pilgrims, but it could cost Wolfric his life. He needs to fall back miles away from those archers. He cannot take any more damage. Familiar Warriors with great weapons trying to take down the Questing Knights. It looks like an Earthblood is going to be going down on them, and the Familiar do get charged there in the rear. Mortar Champions doing pretty strong here, getting decent kills all round, but they are heavily outnumbered at this point. Wulfric is trying desperately to hunt down the Fey Enchantress, but of course he doesn't have the speed. It looks like the Norskans have pushed through, but is it a little bit too late? Will Wulfric be able to shut down the bowmen in time? Only 2 units left. Miststalkers as well have managed to slam in, and Wulfric may yet live, but he's incredibly danger low at this point. Men-at-Arms have been terrified away by the Miststalkers, I would assume. They cause fear, I think, not terror, don't they? But regardless, they are terrified, perhaps by the threat of Wulfric, and the bowmen have been forced back here, and it looks like Norska are in the ascendancy, but very rocky there with Wulfric. He needs to chase off as many units as possible. That does mean kind of spreading out his forces, which plays into the Britonia hands, so it's a real mixture of what do you do here. Spirit Leech does go down on the companions, should finish them off here, down to just 100 health. And they're pretty much done for. Fey Enchantress trying to go toe-to-toe here with the Shaman Sorcerer. What a close game. Brilliant play by both players. Wulfric is indeed wavering here as well, and that could be big trouble if he does break off the field. Miststalkers pushing away the Peasant Bowmen, and the Beasts getting up to 40 kills. Brilliant play here by Palpatine, forcing these guys off. Mortars are going to get a nice sandwich on these men-at-arms with Wulfric, who has popped Fight or Die to increase his leadership and keep him in action. Faye is rallying over. Hunter Champions is going to be slowing her down. We do see the final boat as well being used to take down the men-at-arms polearms, decimating them. Really good play so far, Wulfric. Pretty scary stuff as well. I probably would have risked him as much as he was risked, but it seemed to pay off here. And down to just 500 health, he manages to beat down the Knights, and I think this is going to be a game to Palpatine with a really fantastic set of games by both these players, really evenly matched. But Palpatine is going to come out on top here. What's up, Poison Ducky? Hope you're doing good, bud. But a Pyrrhic victory indeed. Fantastic play by Palpatine, once again proving the power of the elite infantry, which a lot of people think aren't good in Total Warhammer. They certainly are. 95 and 145 kills is some pretty crazy stuff. And 170 on Wulfric. And masterfully played in the end. Knew his limits, and still got great action in with the boats all round. Great play as well by the Britonians. Cavalry really did some massive hammering. I do like the mixture of men-at-arms with polearms. However, Battle Pilgrims just got beat down too much there by the elite infantry. GG. It did indeed lack a bit of AP, but it still had all the knights as well as the archers. Feel free to check out the stream, to chat to people, and support the teams. Cool, so I'll update the scoreboard. Boop, there we go. So up next we will have Cat Tellus and Nero, so if you guys are watching, please feel free to hop in the lobby when these guys do pop out. Really great best video. That was some awesome stuff. Well played to both these guys, putting on a fantastic show in there. And yeah, looks like we're saying GG's across. Poison Ducky Man, you're saying join the cult of the potato. I hope I'm not a potato. I try not to be, but interesting. What's up, Blavy John? We did kind of get the worst part of the Vikings, I agree, but I claim there is some Viking blood somewhere in me, so it's a win-win, but I am a little bit obsessed with Viking culture, and Norse mythology is freaking awesome. I mean, it's the basis for a lot of UK kind of modern fantasy. Like, you can see it through, like, Lord of the Rings work, and, you know, they already had kind of dwarfs and elves and all that kind of cool stuff. Hey, bud. And Nero. Hey, Nero. So let's destroy the maps. Let's have a little scroll through. Let's go Eschen. We'll go Eschen, and then we will go... Let's get... Trying to get a mixture of kind of sized maps, I suppose. I actually really like the Ashen Hall. Then we go Prague after that. Ashen Hall and Prague. Cool. So, Nero to pick and ban first. Maps will be Eschen, Ashen Hall, and Prague. Cool. What's up, Ronan? How's it going, buddy? Glad to see you around, man. Wicked D as well, the true champ of the people. The Evermod. Hello there, happy to see you talk about Norse mythology. I'm a big fan. I would probably do an audiobook for Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book. It's a load of short stories, so I think it would work quite well as a format, and people wanted me to do a bit more kind of... well, people like hear my voice apparently, which is a really weird compliment because I never had that before I hopped on YouTube. But I think I would just mispronounce the names consistently, so I don't think it'd be the best idea in the end. Just got demolished by Vampirates of Death Star. Or just by Vampirates. Yeah, playing Vampirates is rough, man. Hey, the Sweden gang is here. We have a few Scandinavians here as well. Raptor as well. I think he's hopefully be popping in later, if he's about. Norwegian origins. Awesome. Do it. Do it. I feel I would mess up the pronunciations far too much, though, I'm afraid. Like, I feel I'm really terrible at any language which isn't English, and even English, I mispronounce, like, everything. But I have my workarounds. Cool. Looks like Nero is going Lizardmen. Yes, a man after my own heart. Banning Britonia and High Elves. Very interesting to ban Britonia there. Considered by most to be a really tough matchup for Britonia and High Elves as well. Is pretty interesting. Captellus is going to be taking Tomb Kings. But at the same time, I would never, personally, my advice to people, never necessarily worry about what is generally considered bad matchups and so forth. If you think you don't like facing against someone, or you enjoy facing against the upper faction, which is considered hard counter to you, just go with it, because you may know something your opponent doesn't. Cool, have fun there, Sam. We were always enemies. Dude, we want our land back. Well, interestingly enough, the Midlands was actually called... so the Midlands in the UK, which is like the central part of the UK, was the Danelands before. And that's because Danish Vikings occupied it for a large period of history, or in the kind of Viking era, held it for a considerable amount of time. But they never really kind of claimed the south properly, which is actually where I'm from, funnily enough. And then eventually kind of got pushed back over time. But a lot of our kind of language and different words for stuff kind of mingled together, and that's how we formed a lot of our words we know kind of today, and even our society to a point. Yeah, this is a bad matchup for Lizardmen considered by most, but some people don't hate it for Lizardmen. I think it's, on average, they're considered maybe slightly favourable in Tomb Kings. Simply because, of course, your shopping great bows kill big dinosaurs, but I think that's more for, like, obviously, newer players who kind of only want to do that type of stuff. I think there's plenty of tactics on both sides, which can make this a bit more even. Honestly, yeah, going Mass Saurus here can do pretty good against you. Like, just Saurus spam can just walk through you, and Saurus are bad to the bones. They don't like running away much at all, which does suit their tabletop. They had the cold-blooded rule, so for people who are interested, I don't know if people would be, but on tabletop, you had like a leadership rating out of 10. So say, I think Saurus was 8. And then you normally rolled on 2 dice, and if you got 8 or lower, you would pass a leadership test. And of course, Finns can negatively impact your leadership, such as losing a lot of troops, being a hit in the rear and the flank. But I believe Lizardmen, because they were cold-blooded, got to roll 3 dice and pick the lowest 2. So they're really hard to kind of push off and drive away. Looks like these guys are ready. So we're going to be hopping in here. Who are you rooting for, boys? DBD's Captellus, or NK Nero, representing Necropolis here. Yes, 3d6, choose 2. The lowest 2, so. Alright, fire bowlers are decent here. I would like to see fire bowlers. Quite a lot, actually, because I don't get to see them terribly often. Oh, good news for you, Magnus. A classic kind of fantasy Total War should be coming back to tabletop. Probably in a few years, but it's good stuff to everyone who loves the original lore and the Total War Warhammer. Ah, some good cranberry juice. Keep me alive. I'm not sure how I feel about Age of Sigmar. Apparently the game's actually really good, really nicely streamlined, because a lot of the old rules kind of get quite bloated. But I don't know, I'm just so invested in the lore of kind of classic Warhammer because of my childhood that I find it a little bit tough. Anyway, for the forces of Captellus here, we have some bad to the bones Tomb Guard halberds mixed in with skeleton spearmen dotted all the way along the front line here. Oh. Let's dial back there a little bit. So yeah, we have Skeleton Spearmen as well as Tomb Guards all the way dotted along. We do have the Blessed Legion as well, Regiment of Renowned Skeletons, who do, I believe, have Armour Sundering. And it looks like they're going to be sundering troops while the Ushopti Great Bows deal the damage. So we have 2 units of those bad boys as well. We also have a Bone Giant. He has a huge bow, decent long range damage all round, and can do pretty good work against most of what the Lizardmen can bring. We have some Tomb Guard hidden in the trees, as well as 1 protecting this kind of ranged core. We do have 2 carrying up in the sky, as well as Nekakaran Horsemen. I'm sorry, guys. Struggling to speak there a little bit. And then we have Cetra the Imperishable as well, coming with the Wrath of Petra, as well as Petra's Incantation and all this kind of good stuff. We have protection, as well as the Cursed Blades, and he's on top of his Mighty Chariot, can certainly do some good AP work all round. So, for the forces of the Lizardmen here, we do have triple Chameleon Skinks in the front line. Honestly, one of my favourite units to bring as Lizardmen, and probably my most hated unit when I face them. Very just annoying in general. They poison you, they slow you down, they're hard to kill with range firepower, all-round pests, and can do some pretty decent work as well to large forces, as well as cavalry and the like. We have the mighty Krokgar. Ah, Nero really trying to sway my DBD heart here. Coming in with my favourite lord of the game, with Hand of the Gods, Swiftness of Itzel, as well as Deadly Onslaught and the Sacred Spawning. That Hand of the Gods can decimate Cetra if it does indeed connect. For his main battle line, we do have Skink Cohorts mixed in with Cohort of Sotek and Red Crested Skinks. We have Sora Spears! This is some pretty wild stuff. Widely considered not particularly great Sora Spears, but they can do decent work up against constructs here, so I don't absolutely hate it. We also have Cold One Spear Rides on the left-hand flank, Skink Priest of Beast coming with a Manticore Summon and Flock of Doom, Temple Guard and Umbral Tide. These guys can do some disgusting damage up against large constructs. One thing you do have to be careful of, however, is the quite often picked Regiment of Renowned Sphinx does have massive fire resistance, so they're a little bit risky in that aspect. But luckily for them, they'll be able to do massive damage to pretty much everything here. They can do huge damage to the Bone Giant, as well as the Ushopti, and they can even do decent burst damage against infantry. A couple of early shots going into Krokgar. First Hand of Gods does come down, and every single shot connected here, wiping off pretty much a third of Cetra's health here. Certainly going to want to pull back here. Doesn't want to take any more unnecessary shots. Karen, flying high up in the skies, wasting some of the Chameleon Skink's ammunition isn't the worst idea, but they do have a decent amount. As it looks like the big bow is going after Skink Cohorts at the moment, which isn't the most cost effective, but at the moment I'm sure he's happy to find the Umbral Tide, just say hello Carrion, and absolutely destroy them, roasting these dead birds who are already crumbling, as they do indeed take another volley, as the fireballs do arc through the sky, and it looks like the Carrion may be able to stabilise here, possibly. Minus 29 leadership is looking pretty bad for them, so they might already be done for, but at least the Umbral Tide has been revealed here. Cetra is going to be dancing through the skink cohorts and onto the cohort of Sotek, and it's always interesting to see this type of play. It can go very well if chameleon skinks can slow him down and he gets caught or blocked in by anything with any mass. You can lose your lord very early on, but he's quite happily for now to roam through the front line as he takes a good defensive position up on the high ground here, trying to make Obi-Wan Kenobi as proud as possible. Looks like Karen's still crumbling, and probably going to be going down here. Red Crested Skinks have been forced off by focus fire from the Chosen, as well as the Blessed Legion here, who have now turned their sights to the cohort of Sotek. The glorious Cetra is now happily rolling through Skinks, up to 26 kills already. Good micro so far by Capt Tellus. Crockguard taking a lot of damage on the approach here, as the bow fire does start to pour in, and the Bone Giant's managed to connect quite a few times with him. He has been duking back and forth, but of course is also setting his micro, kind of stretching it all across the battlefield. Sotek are now engaged, as well as Saurus with spears here, as Crockguard is taking massive work here, needs to push in. Umbral Tide looks like to be trying to get into position to shoot into the back line. It's unfortunate for them, they're actually having to push through some of their own troops. There's a little bit of a micro mishap there, as Crockguard is going to be running, trying to pull back as fast as possible. Lovely catch here. This could get Nero back into the game. Surrounds Cetra the Imperishable and does some decent work, but in come the Tomb card, well placed there to save Cetra, and he did pop down as well the Incantation of Protection to keep him going. Manticore is putting pressure on the back line, and it looks like Skinks as well as Saurus are managing to push through the front line now and pressure this back line, but the reserve Tomb Guard are being pushed up as well. Umbral Tide doing some really dangerous damage onto Cetra. He needs to get out of here. Tomb Kings overall put themselves into a good position in this game. They don't want to cost it by kind of throwing away Cetra here. And he's going to be pulling back. Cold One Spheroids are hot on his heels, but Tomb Guard can respond here. Karen probably want to dart down on the Umbral Tide here and just do a little bit of harass damage. And the Temple Guard will be able to cleave through this front line, and all of a sudden the Lizardmen starting to put decent pressure onto this back line, and Crocky G, very well played by Nero, is just going to be hiding in the trees, which I think is the right idea here. He wants to pop forward at some point and drop a Hand of the Gods down, maybe be able to finish off Cetra, and apart from that, simply hide and duck around. Umbral Tide have been swamped by the Carrion here, but Saurus Spears and Temple Guard pushing through into the back line, as well as the Saurus Spinning here. Ferromanticore as well has been summoned, going to be darting after the Ushopti, and all three Chameleon Skinks quite happily now are going to poison down these troops, slow them down, and allow other troops to come in and engage here. Cetra getting very low. Umbral Tide, real MVPs here, hammering down Cetra down to just 900 health, and here comes Crocky G as well in the periphery. His Hand of the God probably will be back up now. Incantation of Protection going down, trying to keep Cetra alive, as the Umbral Tide are suffering pretty heavy casualties. Being in guard mode, of course, lets them fire, but they're no longer fighting back. Karen doing some pretty decent work here. Very close game so far. Very rocky start for the Lizardmen, but they fought back. Double Tomb Guard halberds are going to be tough to break down. Looks like the Ushopti summon was used by Capt Tellus to try and pin in Crockguard, but a little mistimed is going to allow Crockguard to escape, and that could be a big problem because those guys could have been used here to really help out in the centre pocket, as both Cetra and Crocky G are incredibly low. Looks like Crockguard, though, has been broken here. Must have been some fire from the Bone Giant forcing him off. If he had come with a Hand of the Gods, he probably would have killed Cetra with just one beam hit. But it looks like both lords may be going down here. Crockguard, -7 leadership, may come back in time, and Cetra is pretty much doomed here. Although the Manticore did disappear, but surrounded by all these pesky Chameleon Skinks, if they focus fire him down, he is certainly done for. Tomb Guard have managed to surround the Bone Giant, but he can peel away, allow the Tomb Guard to gang up on him here, and allow kind of the shooting units to sunder armor and the like. Cetra getting danger low, and Crocky G still running for the hills. Does have good enough leadership to rally. Are you going to rally, buddy? Come on, Crocky G. If he turns around and hands the God Cetra, I'll be a very happy man with that big shot. But Crocky G, even with the leadership, is going to flee there. And with that, I think the game is certainly back in the hands of the Tomb Guard. Not Tomb Guard, sorry, the Tomb Kings. Great attempt by Nero, fighting back there and doing decent work. It looks like army losses is soon to set in. Cetra does not perish. He survives yet again. Actually, just as I say that, he is going to go down here by the looks of it. Trying to deal the final death blow to the Skink Priest. Umbral Tide have jumped in here. And Cetra, 84 health. Is he going to die here? Skink Priest trying to get in a final blow. But Cetra cackles and runs away. It looks like he's going to survive to live another day. Saurus Spearmen being pushed back here. There is a small rallying contingent of chameleon skinks, but I think as soon as the skink priest goes down, it's going to be game, and there's no way back, unfortunately, now for the Tomb Kings. If you look around the battlefield, there's not too much left. Chameleon skinks simply don't have the punch here to break through all these forces, especially a bone giant. And Cetra is a wavering, but he should be fine. Skeleton Spearman trying to pin in the skink priest for now. Oh, looks like they're just saying GG. Cat Tellus has called it, and yeah, I think at this point it's pretty much over. All the chameleon skinks are running for the hills here. Saurus Warriors trying to rally to the skink priest where possible. They're getting shot in the back by these archers who've done some good work all round. You shot to great bows as well, up to 45 kills. The skink priest desperately trying to get in here to deal with the tomb guard, but he's not about to do too much. Cetra the Imperishable is not quite perishing. 144 health as the bone giant does plod over here. The skink priest just to say hello, and they're certainly be able to beat him down. Skink priest trying his best in here, spinning around and doing his little cool attack animations, but bone giant waddles in, and with him waddling in, the skink priest is in fact terrified and pushed off. Spearmen are going to be chasing down chameleon skinks where possible, so it looks like your Shopty's simply going to fall back and turn and fire a few last shots in there. Cetra quite happy to now come back into the main engagement, feeling relatively safe. Skink Priest has started to rout here, and there's no way he's going to be allowed to survive. Temple Guard have pulled back here, and maybe they can grind out something, but I mean, even if all of the chameleon skinks' remaining ammunition went into this bone giant, it's just simply not enough to kill it without support. And the only support they have here is a really battered Temple Guard who are currently taking shots to the face from both Ushopti as well as the Chosen of the Gods, who do some really cool kind of burst arrow fire here. Ushopti quite happy to run into combat at this moment with Skink Priest. Blood going all over the place as Tomb Guard are here to support as well. And let's see, Skink Priest, yeah, he's now been hunted down himself by Cetra personally, willing to do the death blow here. As Tomb Guard have managed to shatter off the remaining Saurus Warriors, and there is the game. Very well played to both players. That was pretty close indeed all round in the end. Really rough start there for the Lizardmen and Nero. Croc taking huge damage straight out of the gate, but did pull him back and kind of kept him alive and active, and did eventually break into the back line, doing some pretty huge work. And if he had finished off Cetra, and somehow kind of kept Krokgar alive whilst putting pressure on the Chosen and the Ushopti, perhaps there was a way back in there, because he still had decent Temple Guard presence, as well as triple chameleon skinks, so certainly no joke. Umbral Tide as well, doing massive damage throughout. But well played to both those players. GG, well played. Almost a great comeback. I'm very happy. Yes, Nero, very well played, man. That was a really fun game all round. So we are next going to be going to the Ashen Hall. Ashen Hall up next. Capped to pick and bam. Let's update the scoreboard before I do indeed forget. So DBD has taken an early lead here, but it is by no means over. Nero does need to fight back though and get a game, I believe, on this one, otherwise it's going to be getting pretty close. I'll play Empire, says Captellus, and he will ban. Captellus is an Empire main, I believe. Yes, his ability heals him, Park Map, I believe. What's up, Blackthorn? How's it going, man? I'm glad you've been enjoying the recent videos as well. I've seen a lot of your comments. Hope you're doing all good today. Yeah, if Cetra was forced off there, Ronin, that could have been a big fight back there by Nero. That was a really fun game, though. Just huge nukes went down at different points onto each other's lords, and the Umbral Tide, they're such a good unit. They are, as I said before, they're slightly risky in this matchup because the Sphinx seems to be very often picked. So in that instance, Razordons would be better, but they did good work. Cetra rules, he does indeed Slayer. Nice to see you here, bud, hope you're enjoying. Ah, yes, Oblivion. So I actually went to Nottingham and went to Games Workshop headquarters a couple of times when I was younger. I've got a friend who's an incredibly talented Warhammer player. She plays 40k now, and I think he's always kind of in the top 10 players, kind of pushing, or the I'm not sure if it's in the world, because he mainly plays green skins, and he's moved to Tau as well recently. And yeah, he was, I think, fighting for the top orc player in the world last year. But yeah, me and him and his brother, he was the most competitive of us, but we all went to Nottingham to do the big grand tournament they do every year. And I took Scar Veteran, and I was the only guy there. I took Lizardmen, and I think there's like 11 Lizardmen players. 10 of them had Slam, and I had a Saurus Old Blood on a Carnosaur. I was the only guy who brought a Carnosaur, but it was always good fun. Anyway, let's get back into this. Sorry for going off on a little... what's it called? Gone off just little ramblings there. So, Captellus is going to ban Chaos and Counts, and it looks like Nero is going to go Vampirates. Which, Nero says sounds good for you. Maybe Nero is a Vampirates main and just wants to get those guys in action. But Empire tend to have a pretty favourable matchup here, in my opinion. Being able to outshoot the Pirates. Empire is a capped main. Oh, he is capped main. Yeah, he is. Yes, so for those who have joined a little bit late, we're doing 3 best of 3s today. So we had Papa Palpatine up against Levitano in round 1, which was a 2-1 series to Papa P. This is the second best of 3, with Capt Tellus currently 1 up against Nero here. And then we have a final best of 3 with Geist Howard, the mighty goose himself, up against Dragon Knight, who I assume is going to be bringing some dragons to the table. I do hope. Yes, he didn't ban Dwarfs, which is interesting. I think Dwarfs are really good against Empire. You can honestly bring like 4 or 5 cannons, and as Dwarfs there, and just shoot everything, and just sit back an onion. It does some really good work. Thank you, Blackthorn. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying them, man. Yeah, Tilia versus Albion, indeed. I don't know how many of the guys are from the UK, actually, in a DBD, but I myself am UK. Yes, loads of knights and loads of dragons. That'd be some glorious stuff to see. Ready for the good stuff. Awesome. Looks like Nero is ready to throw hands here. If you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to give it a big old thumbs up. It just helps it push it out to more people. Anyone new, feel free to subscribe. I do Total War content every week, and I tend to try and put out 7 videos a week, as well as like 1 stream at least a week as well, kind of topped on top of that. Yes, I think Palpatine is UK. I think Captellus is America, I want to say. No, they're kind of bounced all over the place. We'll see how this turns out. Captellus looks like he's pretty confident as well. You're Netherlands, god damn it! I knew you weren't UK, but as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, maybe he is. I've asked this question multiple times to Papa Palpatine. I always forget, but yes, he is indeed Netherlands. But they're basically brothers to UK. Yeah, Queen Bess isn't actually terrible. Queen Bess can do some decent work. You have to protect her, though. And you have to kind of use her like a mortar team, like hide her behind terrain. Have a quick drink there. I might have to grab a snack between this round and the next round, I'm not sure. Might be able to push through. I might just have a huge dinner afterwards. Got a pizza waiting for me with my name on it. Here we are, Ashen Hall. Pretty fun map. It's a map I've kind of recently put into tournament play. I don't know how other people feel about it, but nice mixture of trees as well as kind of high grounds and open plain areas as well. There's a pretty funny glitch in the map here, which I didn't know about, which is if you place something, it's around here somewhere, like a big construct, it actually dips down under the ground. It's really bizarre, but we'll have to see if that does come into play. Anyway, Captellus trying to make this best of 3 series as a 2-0, is coming in with a pretty cool looking build straight out the gates. Free Company Militia mixed in with the Death Jacks, Regiment of Round Archers. I never see these guys. They have Stalk, they have Snipe, they have Vanguard. Be interesting to see if he does deploy them in a Vanguard position. He's mixed them in with Huntsmen, as well as more Free Company Militia dotted all the way along, so huge foreign line. We have the Stirland Revenge as well, Free Company Militia Regiment of Renowned, who are of course immune to psychology, and more Huntsmen, so a pretty massive missile corps, but without the traditional handgunners, and no crossbowmen either. For his, does he have an infantry front line? Not really, I guess the militia will work as it. Triple Empire Knights. We have Marcus Wolfhart as well as his lord, bringing all his buffs and nets and all that good stuff. He's pretty good in this matchup. It's a matchup both Marcus and Alphanar can excel in. We also have a Bright Wizard with Burning Head, Flaming Sword Rune, and Fireball. Pretty crazy build coming by Captellus. I actually love it. Look at this Vanguard. Massive amounts of Free Company Militia who will work as a kind of cross-fighter, as like close quarter experts, I suppose, both shooting and fighting in combat. Now, for the forces here of Nero, they do have a ton of deckhand mobs in the front line, good old meat bags to absorb the firepower, while we do have bombers in a secondary line to do decent damage. We also have gunnery mobs dotted all around as well, as a ton of scurvy dogs, so they're going to be pretty good here, pushing in and hunting down and pressuring the Empire forces where possible. As for the secondary battle line, it looks like we have the Lampreys Revenger, Regiment of Renowned Rotten Prometheans, who do some decent work, and polearms as well, dotted around in the distance. We have the Black Spot as well, Regiment of Renowned Handgunners to do some decent long-range firepower, as well as Shade Wraith Gunners, currently hidden in the trees, up on the high ground here, can do some awesome long-range firepower, and they actually have crazy range as well. Coming in with 245 range is pretty impressive. It looks like we do indeed have Count Noculus, the evil Dracula fiend himself, going to be coming in on top of his mighty construct here, coming in with Capt Roth's Moondial, as well as Wraithstorm, and the traditional Invocation Heck and Raise Dead, or Drowned Dead here, both very good spells, as well as the Wyvern. Interesting to see that in action. He also has a Gunnery Wight as well, to make sure he's consistently topped up with ammunition. So a pretty interesting deployment by both of these lads. And some cool stuff all round. We do actually have the Zintler's Reichsguard as well here for Captellus in a deep Vanguard here. What awesome builds here. We have Scurvy Dogs as well in the distance here for Nero's forces. So both of them have predicted a little bit wrong here, kind of facing off against each other at weird angles. But the Vanguard is well and truly marching forward now. This Empire build is really wild. I love it. And it looks like this could actually be a bit of a problem for Nero's forces, because the vampires are pretty damn slow, as you'd expect from zombies, and they've got a lot of repositioning to do. There's this big shot blocker here as well, so they can make a secondary battle line along this ridge here, which allowed the Shade Wraith Gunners to consistently fire. That does involve all these guys kind of hustling over here. Huge exchange of gunfire here as gunnery mobs get absolutely destroyed, but in turn, one unit of Free Company Militia is getting obliterated. The Black Spot opening up, as well as Shade Wraith Gunners already getting 7 kills, doing some decent work straight out of the gates. And of course, these guys are going to be all a bit more expensive than zombies. Looks like they are focused down at the Stirland Revenge now, and oh, that is some disgusting damage coming in straight out of the gate. But at the same time, it is a little bit tit-for-tat damage going both ways. In the distance, it looks like some Empire Knights have almost spotted some Scurvy Dogs. Need to pop over there and just finish those guys off. But I suppose they may be a little bit too hidden here, as the Empire forces are going to wrap up and around here to put some pressure on at the back lines of the undead here. Looks like some big bow shots are going down, trying to focus down the Gunnery Wight. Most of the shots did miss, unfortunately, and he managed to shrug it off relatively comfortably there. Bombers are being destroyed before they get any value, however, which is going pretty good here for the Empire. Free Company Militia as well, engaging the Black Spot in combat. Not quite sure what they pushed up there. Perhaps wanted just to tie down as many troops as possible. As we do have a big Wraithstorm coming down on Marcus, and he's not the tankiest of geezers, so it do some pretty decent damage. Shade Wraith Gunners as well, doing some consistently good work. Looks like the Hounds were caught out by the Empire Knights here. There's still some more Scurvy Dogs as well. Looks like they tried hopping on top of the Bright Wizard, but the Empire Knights responded well. These guys need to get moving now, and there's a prefla of kind of huge backline potential here. Get those Hounds and just start darting around, causing havoc in the back line. Otherwise, the Empire firepower may be a little bit too much here for the undead forces. Large net is going down. I expect the Gunnery Mob bombers here to be absolutely hammered now. by archer and gunfire, as they're one of the big threats that can kind of chew through a lot of these troops. Empire Knights are now reaving through the back lines. Looks like one unit did commit here, the Zinter's Reichsguard in fact, trying to do some decent damage to the Shade Wraith gunners, but they are being pinned in now by the Lamprey's Revenge. Big Burning Head did come down. Looks like it probably wasn't maybe it was overcast. It did some pretty decent work, but I'm not sure how much of this was due to the arrow fire. And this is some crazy firepower coming in by Captellus, really chewing through these units as the Empire Knights do charge in as well. Looks like Shade Wraith Gunners, 23 kills, so some good damage all round. Count Noctis up to 70 already, plenty of ammunition as well. Perhaps even carrying this game on his back, he is known to do that. Scurvy Dogs have darted in to the Huntsmen doing some good work, but now going to be fleeing from the Empire Knights, who are fresh off cleaning their blades from dispatching one unit of Doggos. They're going to be floating over to assassinate the next as well. Now, ammunition could be a problem for the Empire in the elite game if they do kind of run out of troops, as there's still a ton of potential in this undead build. A lot of zombie bodies dart around, and Lamprey's Revenge, full health with a full health Canoculus is certainly scary stuff indeed. Free Company Militia still lacing some shots in where possible, and Deck Hammer Polearm's taking quite a beating at this point. Marcus Wolfheart is taking a little bit of a pounding here, but it looks like he is indeed going to be either dropping some kind of debuff. Oh no, it's going to be another storm coming down on top of him. Doing some pretty decent damage all round, honestly. He's getting a little bit danger low. Fire Wizard darts along, cackling as a big old burning head does come in. Great micro though by Nero, does spot it in time and manages to move out the way. Really nice play there. Shade Wraith Gunners floats down Marcus at this point, trying to get him off the field. I'm sure Count Noctis is probably shooting him as well. It looks like the backline though is going to be completely unharassed now. All the Sko Dogs have been cleared up. The Empire Knights getting a little danger low here, however, as the Lamprey's Revenge waiting in the wings and waiting in the trees here. Probably going to poke out late game, and they're going to be a big problem if the Huntsmen do run out of ammunition. But at the moment, they're still going relatively strong. Marcus Wolfheart has been pushed back here, nearly killed. Let's see if one or two more cannonballs can finish him off. Marcus trying to come through the fire and the flames there, down to 300 health. And is unintentionally juking as he runs, but he is indeed shattered off the field here. And that is a big problem for the force of the Empire. And as all of a sudden the Vampire Count's looking incredibly strong here. Lamprey's Revenge are going to slaughter these Empire Knights. I don't know if there's enough to take down both Count Noctis and these Rotten Prometheans. Empire Knights can do some decent cycle charging, and there's okay ammunition left. But a lot of the Huntsmen are running relatively low for at least the amount of damage output they have to do. And Empire forces getting danger low, and all of a sudden, even with so many troops left on the field, they are going to break and run for the hills. Awesome game there, fantastic work, and Nero has dragged it back here, and it is 1-1 once more, much like the first series. Yes, Ronan, you're DBD as well, man. Don't get it twisted. You're definitely DBD as well. Lovely play there by both players. That Empire build was wild, and it nearly pulled it off. I thought kind of at the midpoint of that game, Empire looking very strong. Crazy kills across the board for the Huntsmen, as well as for the Empire Knights overall doing a good job. Bright Wizard, solid kills as well. But a nice assassination on Marcus Wolfheart really made that Empire build kind of fall apart. And ammunition, of course, is counted into the balance of power as well. So when those Huntsmen, as well as the Free Company Militia, started to run out of ammunition, it affected it quite heavily in the late game. Overall, really good build as well by Nero. Coming in with Count Noctis, 126 kills, and I'm a huge fan of Shade Wraith Gunners. And one thing I think Nero did fantastically well here was keeping the Lamprey's Revenge in deep reserve and then flooding them out in the late game where there wasn't too much left to deal with them. So, really nice play overall. GG, well played. My Vanguard was on the wrong side of the hill. It was indeed. He's saying he's a lucky man. Yes, that could have been pretty dangerous. It allowed him to reposition a little bit here. We are going to be on Prague for the final matchup here, which is, I believe, one of the biggest maps in the game. Prague it is. Nero won round 2. So Nero to pick 3 factions and ban 1. Then Capt picks and bans 1. There we go. Let's update the scoreboard. So NK bringing it back there, 3-2. Can Nero level it out? Which would mean all the pressure on the last 2 players, which would be pretty awesome stuff. Just going to check Discord, make sure we have no questions or anything. Looks like we're all good. Yeah, looks like we're all good in the hood. Let's pop back into the game. Luckily, we're having no internet problems because my housemate's also streaming, which is good stuff here for my internet connection, at least. Yes, bravo, Nero, indeed. Well played. It's a best of 3, Ronan, but there's 3 best of 3s. So the scoreboard isn't actually kind of representing what's going on in the current game. It's representing the clan score overall. So Capitellus can either make this 4-2 now, or Nero could bring it back to 3-all. But either way, it is going to go down to the final set of best of 3s, which is pretty cool. Nero is picking Empire, Tomb Kings, and Skaven. 3 pretty good long-range factions, which on this map is going to be some scary stuff. Yeah, sorry about the scoreboard, a bit confusing. I wasn't sure the best way to do it. I could have done it just the 3 separate best of 3s, but I thought keeping an overall score might be a bit more entertaining. Yeah, it's best of until we win. We're just going to keep going. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, the crumbling mechanics are interesting, Primo. Saying if their leadership is a little low. I think it just needs tweaking a little bit. I don't mind it. It needs to be sorted a little bit. I don't think the game would be better without them. I don't like facing Coast. I just literally think Crumbling needs to be tweaked a little bit. Harkin probably needs to be tweaked a bit, and Inoculus. But yeah, they're a pretty frustrating faction to play against for sure. Cool. Looks like Nero also banned Vampire Counts. And Capitellus is going Britonia, Fizzy Lady, and banning the Tomb King. So it's going to be either against Skaven or Empire. Empire in particular is a really fun matchup, because I find that the Britonians overinvest in the infantry game to counter the Empire, and the Empire overinvest in the cavalry game, and you get this weird mix where all of a sudden the Empire are ruling the cav, which is what the Britonia should be doing, and vice versa. If you guys are enjoying, feel free to smack that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot for one, lets me know you guys like this type of content, and also pushes it out to more people so we can convert them to the Great Duck Clan, which is always good fun. We do have that one dislike. I'm not sure who I annoyed. I have one guy who will literally go through all my videos and dislike them, like in a batch. They have no dislikes, and then here hop on and like go through 5 in a row. I have a hunch of who it could be. There was someone who kept wanting me to change the format of stuff, and I basically said politely, like, no, multiple times. But he responded under, like, every single video. So, it might be him, but who knows? I'm not too fussed. Bring 5 Question Knights, pretty awesome stuff. Looks like Nero is still contemplating on who he's going to be bringing here. No, yeah, he's just saying he's picking Brett. But should be some good stuff. I'm excited as well to see the final matchup here. I don't think I've seen Dragon Knight on the channel before. Of course, Keith Howard has been on a few times here, and is a really cool player. She does some pretty awesome builds that people don't expect. Empire, the Battle of the Humans. What's up, Zake Style? Or Zach is Style? How's it going, man? Hope you're all good. Let's have a little sip of my drink to keep me alive. Ah, that's the good stuff. I don't know what it is, I've become addicted to cranberry juice recently. This is going to be a random topic of conversation briefly, so I won't go on it too long. But those who do enjoy watching TV shows and the like, and are interested in sci-fi, because I'm obviously a big fan of fantasy and sci-fi, I've just started watching a TV show called Raised by Wolves, and I highly recommend it. It has Travis Fimmler, who is an awesome actor. I've only seen one episode, and it is pretty weird. Not gonna lie, very weird, but pretty insane. So, if you guys are looking for TV options, I recommend that. I hope they pay me for that promotion. What are you still waiting for, Ronan? Looks like Ronan is waiting for Marathi or L'Oreal. Yes, Ronan, I have seen the first season of Altered Carbon. I unfortunately heard bad stuff about season 2, that it kind of dropped off a little bit, but it's definitely on my list of stuff to watch. But yes, Altered Carbon season 1 was awesome. I was a big fan. It was very cool. I won't obviously spoil any of the details for it for if people want to watch, but I believe it's on Netflix. And yeah, that was some good stuff. I believe it's based off a set of books as well, and adaptations can really be hit and miss, but when they're done well, you can really tell, because obviously an author of a book, it's different to script writing in a way, so it is kind of hard to do the adaptation, but you get so much detail in a novel that I think if you can adapt it correctly, it's almost always going to be a big success. Yes, I haven't read the book. I'm currently reading the Witcher books. I've got about 30 pages left on book 2, which I'm enjoying greatly. I enjoyed the TV show as well quite a lot, but the books were very good as well. Yeah, season 1 was insane. It was the bartender was my favourite character. Oh, like the hotel bartender manager type guy was very cool. But anyway, back to Warhammer. I hope people are excited for the DLC. I don't have any news for you on it, but I'm pretty confident it's probably going to drop next month, early. Simply because Everchosens tend to run alongside DLC drops, and all the qualifiers are currently going on now, which means we'll probably have a final at the end of the month, which means the DLC will drop as well, which is very exciting, because Wood Elves are probably now my second best faction, and I really enjoy playing them, but I wish they had more playstyles, so watching them come in is going to be really cool. I'm definitely going to do a Legendary Lord, not Legendary Lord, Legendary Lord campaign. I suppose all campaigns are done by Legendary Lords, but I'll certainly be doing a campaign streamed on here for you guys, as well as, of course, all that good content, and checking out the new stuff. Looks like Nero is ready, just waiting on the Master Cat to tell us himself. When is the next Steam sale? I do not know, unfortunately. Maybe they'll do a Halloween one or something. It's possible. Yeah, Final Transmutation is a good way to deal with mass knights blobbing up on you. But yeah, not sure when the next Steam sale is. Obviously, we had the summer sale. They'll probably have a Christmas one, maybe. But I'm sure the guys at CA will probably do some kind of off. They always do offers when they have DLCs out. So if you pre-order, you'll probably get a bit of money off, and you can probably... I'm almost certain they're going to do 50% off or something on the old Wood Elf DLC, no doubt. It's kind of like a joint package. Looks like these boys are good to go. Yeah, Stormrunner sums up there. Probably just after the Wood Elf DLC. Try and get some more people in. But I'm excited, guys. So this is the last game of the second best of 3. Both best of 3's been incredibly close so far. And after this, we have one last one. Geese Howard and Dragon Knight. We're making pretty good time as well. I think we've been going for about an hour and a half. Sure, best of 3's tend to take about an hour, so... If we keep them just under an hour, you know you're doing good work. And after this, I will stuff my face. So, here we go. Captain Tellus, trying to bring this one home for DBD, is coming in with double Blessed Field Trebuchets. What a hero. Blessed Field Trebuchets are pretty awesome. Don't get to see them terribly often. They do magic damage, which is pretty cool stuff all round. It looks like for the front line, we have the mighty Peasant Mob, the backbone to any good Britonian force. There to psych up damage, allow the rest of the units to do decent work. Of course, we have the Peasant Bowman, the ever-picked unit, coming in with a couple of standard ones as well as a couple of pox arrows for that lovely poison. We have triple Spimler arms with shields as well as some men-at-arm pole arms as well. Looks like they are going to be protecting the trebuchets where possible. We have the Companions, Regiment of Renowned Questing Knights. More Questing Knights and more Questing Knights, so anti-infantry absolute shredding machines will do a fantastic work at clearing through the enemy, and they can go toe-to-toe with Empire Knights and stuff still. They have decent AP and all-round solid troops. For Leadership Corps, we do have the Fey Enchantress, of course, coming in with Earthblood and Regrowth, as well as it looks like the Chalice of Potions, as well as Favour of the Fey, and a Paladin on horseback, coming in with some nice anti-large. So a good build. I'm a little worried here that if there's a gun line, it's going to struggle because the field trebuchets will just go down to cannons incredibly quickly. And it looks like that may be what we have in store. Oh no, we have mortars. Interesting. So for the force of Nero here and the Empire, fresh off his comeback fight, we have double mortars. Good answers to the bowmen, actually. We also have one singular great cannon, which can focus down cavalry quite nicely. For the main battle line, it is going to be cheap and cheerful, with spearmen with shields dotted in, as well as one unit of swordsmen. So they're going to get chewed through if the cavalry actually kind of runs down the gullet to try and force them off. But there's a ton of them. Looks like we even have halberds in the mix as well. For Leadership Corps, it looks like we have a Jade Wizard with Earthblood and Regrowth, so mirroring the Britonian picks. And it looks like we also have an Arch-Elector here, rolling dirty with some Demigryph Knights with Halberds. Now, from kind of talks of Darth plays and a few other Empire players, I actually don't think the Halberds are the most cost-effective, even up against enemy cavalry. Up against enemy monsters, they do better, but overall, Lancers are actually better up against enemy cavalry, assuming because of the attack speed and the lovely charge bonus. So we have them mixed in with an Arch-Elector, who of course is going to be coming in with his buffs. He is going to be coming in with Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, as well as the Grand Hammer of Sigma. And we have the Royal Altdorf Gryphites as well, Regiment of Renowned Demigryphs, bad to the bone in their royal blue here. Their Demigryphs look so incredibly cool. I know they were a Game 1 unit and they've held up really strong. We also have one unit of Empire Knights as well on the right hand side. Should be some good stuff, so double Demigryphs will give those Knights a bit of a problem, but I'm sure healing with the Fae will be able to counteract it a little bit. Have fun and thanks. No worries, guys. Wait for these guys to kick off. Use lubricant next time. Oh no! I don't know what the Italian was said, but... Halberds, is this Earth? We'll see. So some of these guys are Shrek Demi's. I don't really play Britonia too often, so I have to see how these guys do. But the Quest Knights are anti-large. Regiment of Renown, so yeah, they should do pretty good up against the Demigryphs. All the other guys, yeah, they're all anti-infantry, the other ones, the Question Boys. So Mortify is going to be coming in. It's just going to be shrekking some peasant mobs, which, you know, isn't the best value, but still, it's always fun to kill peasants. At least I think that's how the Britonians view it as well. And the Blessed Field Trebuchets are going to be launching here, and it's going to take a long time for that cannon to pit both of them offline, as there is just the one cannon. So it looks like the Empire forces are going to advance. We even have a unit of archers. It's really cool to see. We've seen so many units that we don't often see in these matchups coming from both sides, which is always some good stuff. Field Trebuchets continuing to just sit back and fire, but the Britonian forces are going to march onto the field here, put a bit of pressure onto the Empire, as these glorious Trebuchets do arc through the sky and come collapsing in and completely missing. But that's what happens when you get peasants manning your artillery. Mortars as well. Looks like they're trying to focus on probably the archers. The archers would be a fantastic pick here in my opinion. It looks like that is just what they're going for, and some big blasts coming in, and that's what you get when you get trained gunners on those good, glorious artillery pieces. The archers are going to struggle a little bit here. However, they're relatively cheap as well, so it's not the worst situation in the world. Field Trebuchets actually trying to take down mortars here, which is interesting to see how well they do. Halberds are going to sit back, so if the Cav does want to come around and destroy the Blessed Field Trebuchet, they're going to have to pay for it in blood, as the companions do drive forward down this right-hand side. These Empire Knights look so cool. Britonians in general are very thematic, and watching humans charging against all kind of horrible creatures is very glorious, so this time they're actually charging against other humans, which is a sad sight to see in the old world. Peasant archers are just about to get into range, and if they're allowed to actually fire on top of the mortars, they will get rid of their crews quite quickly, but instead it looks like they're actually going after the enemy archers here instead. Over on this left-hand side, Quest Knights have taken a little bit of a beating here, no doubt from some of the cannon fire coming in, but they've wrapped around quite nicely. If you look at the mini-map, there's a huge surround coming in the Empire forces, and it's going to make them go pretty thin as well. They're trying to match kind of every single front here at the moment, but the front line should be fine for them, as peasant mobs aren't going to do too much, and spearmen arms will take a long time to try and break through basic spearmen. Field Trebuchets try and take down the mortar, not doing too much. In come the Question Knights though, looking for some backline engagements. Double Demigryphs do answer the call here though, and start to push out to fend off this pressure. Quest Knights do get a lovely rear charge into some spearmen, but they need to move away quickly or they're going to get sandwiched between them and halberds, and that'll be a disastrous engagement for them. Field Trebuchets continue to launch in. They have now fended off one of the mortars. And over on this side, companions need to be careful. Halberds are charging into the rear here, and this is pretty disastrous stuff for the companions in general, as halberds will be able to chew them down relatively quickly. So a little bit of a mismicro there from the Britonians. Looks like an Earthblood does come down on this unit of Quest Knights, and this is really nice play. Hammering in the front line, so you pin them in with the Spearmen at Arms. Quest Knights come in the back line, and these Spearmen are going to take massive damage. Looks like the potion is about to be dropped as well, perhaps sacrificing a couple of peasants in the mix, but massive damage done to those swordsmen as a big puffy crater does form here, and all of a sudden those swordsmen take a bit of a beating, but they have a clear arc of fire, view, I suppose, into the peasant bowmen here to put some pressure on them. Field Trebuchets doing okay damage now as well. Big Grand Soulfire coming in, and it has forced off the Question Knights, and oh no, Fey Enchantress is trapped here. The Paladin is nearby supporting as well, but surrounded by so many Demigryphs, this is going to be some scary stuff. All the buffs have gone down, and the Fey is well and truly pinned in here. She needs to try and force her way through the halberds, but this could be game on, honestly, this early on, if they do get pinned in. Over the far side as well, Quest Knights have been noticed now, but being chased by Demigryphs, they're not really going to be able to escape too easily, and although they have dragged a few units out of the way, I suppose. Peasant Bowmen are now unleashing shot after shot as well into the swordsmen and spearmen, trying to break that front line so these troops can get up and assist, but this is looking very bad for the Britonians here, as both the Paladin and the Fey Enchantress are pretty doomed here. If she had a potion left, that would get some disgusting value, but fortunately they did use that earlier up on the front line. Both Field Trebuchets are launching shots in. They don't currently have the range to fire into the big blob, unfortunately for them. Peasant Bowmen are now pushing up and can do some nice fire and support. And it looks like Britonia are actually winning on multiple areas of the battlefield, but not where it kind of matters, unfortunately for them. Companions did turn around to engage the Demigryph Knights, but Spearmen have managed to get here and support. And the Companions are going to be saying a sad farewell here, as a Cannonball does arc through as well, taking out a couple of models. With the Fey and the Paladin being lost like this, I think Empire are well and truly in the driving seat. Peasant Bowmen are now launching some shots in, should be able to finish off the mortar, and both Field Trebuchets are alive and active, but there's just too much enemy cav around still. And I mean, there's still a cannon as well. Some of the archers have been forced off at this point. Mortar as well being shut down. Quest Knights reaving through the back lines. 134 kills. This unit has certainly been doing better than the Companions. Done some good work all round, but they're now tussling with some Empire Knights. Archers unleashing some shots into the mortars as well has forced them back here, but down goes the Fey Enchantress. She was not allowed to escape, and with that the balance power is heavily in favour here of the Empire and Nero. Paladin should be able to rally here, perhaps he can bring back some of these peasants, but there's a mass chain rout going on, as they see the lady does indeed fall, and Quest Knights as well now simply being swamped by the amount of Demigryphs and regrowth coming down on them. I don't think there's any way back in this for the forces of Britonia. Peasants as well running for the hills, as to be expected, without the knights to whip them into shape. They are going to be running. Paladin, though, is barking orders, trying to rally some peasant bowmen. The trebuchets still can do some decent work, up to 49 and 25 kills. Need to focus down the knights for the most part. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to kind of push through and run over all of these troops. Looks like Quest Knights have started to flee here. 14 of those guys. Triple bronze chevron, though. Peasant bowmen have, basic peasants have managed to rally, but I don't think that's going to last too long. Looks like they're saying, they're just saying good luck and stuff at the start of the game. Peasants have formed up once more, unleashing some shots here into the halberdiers, trying to bring those guys down. And a lot of the Empire forces are kind of just chilling. Looks like they're just trying to get some big heals going off, maybe waiting for an Earthblood, as the Royal Dwarfs are held up as well. Cannon unleashing some shots now. Probably can just focus down some of the trebuchets if it really needs to. As Halberdiers take massive bowfire here and actually forced back. Peasants have decent ammunition as well, but there's nothing really left to box in the Royal Dwarfs and the like, so that they can pin them in and really do some decent damage. No steam tank. No steam tank, unfortunately, here. Which is a grudging. We'll have to save that for some Dowie players later on. Peasant bowmen now firing into the Empire Knights, trying to break through their thick armour. And 110 armour with bronze shields is certainly no joke. They're going to dive through the peasants here, and peasants not going to have a good day. I don't think peasants particularly have good days in general, but they're going to be getting run over here. Quest Knights have attempted to come to their aid. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Paladin trying his best to bring this game back by going toe-to-toe with the Arch-Lector. With the Grand Shield of Faith popped on him, the Paladin is simply no match for the might of Sigma. And Sigma does indeed protect, and the lady has fallen. So that is going to be a game to Nero there, bringing the clan war level, which is a pretty awesome stuff. So it's going to come down to the last best of 3. Nice play all round by both players. A few micro mishaps on both sides as well, mainly with the companions for the force of Captellus, and for Nero, a few of the units kind of chilling for a little while, a little bit longer than they should have. But apart from that, really good play by both sides. I love the Blessed Field Trebuchets by Captellus, a really interesting pick, which managed to pay off and do some pretty decent damage. Good archer play as well as this unit of Question Knights. Unfortunately, just got his hero core trapped and swamped there by the Empire ambush, which really kind of cost him the game a little bit early on. But still, good play and well played to both these lads. Thank you, Captellus, saying good luck with the stream. Hopefully see you in chat, my dude. So you can talk through your builds and stuff with peoples if they have any questions. So GG, well played. Let's update the scoreboard. So it is 3-all, and we have one best of 3 left. So Geese, Howard, and Dragon Knight, you bad boys are up. The password is just 123. And yeah, the name will be easy enough to find. If you can't find it, just message me on Discord and I'll get you a little a friend invite. Yes, GG's indeed. Well played to all the guys there. Great game, sorry. See you soon. I'll pop them out in a second. Hey James, don't know if I caught you earlier. Hope you're enjoying the stream, bud. And GG indeed. So let's kick out Nero there. And can you switch sides? I don't know if it allows you to switch sides, just because we've always had DBD on the left, so it makes more sense. Cool. Hey, hey! Hey, Geese! Awesome. So let's pick the maps. Let us do, of course. As always, we'll have an Alpine Ridge in here. But what awesome maps have we yet to do? Let's go a classic. Let's do Tower of Hoeth. Do Tower of Hoeth. Could do a horrible map, but I'm not going to be that mean. See that? Pillar of Bone. And Alpine Ridge. Cool. How are we doing this, boss? So, Geese to pick and ban first. Basically, I just flipped a coin at the start and we're bouncing between the two factions, or two clans. So Geese to pick and ban first. And maps are Tower of Hoeth, Pillar of Bone, and Alpine Ridge. So let's scroll down. There we go. What's up, Elogast? Where did you get your name from, by the way? I don't know why, that just reminded me, very randomly, there's a Lord of the Rings game called The Third Age, and there was a ranger in that, and I feel like his name was Elgost or something. Say me... Oh god. Me dissocio? I have no idea, bro. I have no idea how to pronounce that. My dissocio. Who knows? GG's indeed. Hope you guys are enjoying. Lots of Italian. Try and keep it as English as possible, lads. Obviously, feel free to speak Italian as well. We are against an Italian clan here, but it is a British stream, dude, so try to keep it as much as possible just to not confuse other people watching. So, Geese Howard is going Empire, banning Dwarfs and Chaos. Which should be some good stuff. Elgos is a Lord of the Rings fanboy. Where is the name from? Cool, cool. As we go into the final best of threes here, guys. It is tied, which is some crazy stuff, so it should be 3-all. If my maths is correct. Yes, 3-all. So hopefully it goes down to the last game, which should be some really awesome stuff. And we wait on Dragon Knight to decide his factions. Haven't had Dragon Knight on the channel before, so not sure. It means I don't associate to something. Okay. I need to up my Italian skills. Oh, okay. It is in Italian. It's a meme. Nice. Oh, sweet. Looks like you guys are having a good fun anyway. So we are seeing vampire counts. Poison Ducky, where art thou? Vampire counts. Don't get to see them terribly often ads. Oh, this should be a really good fun game here. It's an old school Total War Warhammer 1 matchup. Just gonna have a little sip there as we get hyped for this final best of 3. And guys, I know I've said it like multiple times, but if you are enjoying the stream, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, feel free. We are a growing YouTube channel, which is always good to see. So feel free to subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. And if you want to support in any other way as well, I do have Super Chat, I believe, available, as well as kind of like links in the description to donations and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's no pressure. Feel free just to sit back and enjoy and do your thing. Poison Ducky, man. It may be your clanmate, Geese here fighting, but it's your boys, it's the Vampire Counts. Hopefully there's no invocations in the heck, because I believe they have been crashing the game apparently. But I haven't run into that problem, but I don't play them, so fingers crossed we can bring them into the action. What are you guys expecting from the Wood Elf DLC? There's going to be Ariel for sure, and probably Drycha. I think there's I can't remember. It was such a long time ago. I looked at the post they made, but I think there may be 3 legendary characters coming from the Wood Elves. In which case, I expect the sisters and Ariel probably to become a hero character like Lord Croak. But we'll see. That's kind of what I hope for, because I really want to see the sisters in there. Yeah, guys, switch up to English if you can. I know we've got a lot of Italians in here supporting the NK, of course, who are an Italian clan, but try and stick to English just so everyone can kind of see what's being said and so forth. Oh god, yeah, I'm glad the Everchosen's before the DLC, Malverde, otherwise Ronin would just be unstoppable. I've decided that I'm going to message CA. I'm going to try and get Ronin banned from allowing to download the DLC. He's going to be far too OP. No, it's fine. Honestly, guys, it's no problem. I'm glad you guys are enjoying yourselves. But yeah, just try to, if you can, stick it to English so everyone can kind of join him. Yes, Way. Nice to see you, man. It was good to see you as well. I'm assuming you're the same Way who was in the training grounds the other day. Hope you're doing all good, buddy. And yeah, Twilight Sisters is 100% what I want. Rubber, do you want to come take a drink with me and Ronin? Hell yeah, that sounds good. I'd have to get to Italy, unfortunately, which at the current state of the world might be a bit hard. I actually have some Italian friends in the UK as well. I used to work with some. I've kept good friends with. Yeah, Twilight Sisters would be interesting, because how to balance them? It's basically a Glade Lady who gets 2 shots, 2 bow and arrows, which is going to be horrifically powerful, and what their arrows did on tabletop, if I remember correctly, there was, one's like a Sister of Light, one's a Sister of Dark, and I think the light one, when it fired in, like roots came up from the ground and like grappled whatever it was shooting, which obviously would be like a net situation, and the dark one kind of like leeched them, I suppose. So you could do like a bound spirit leech and a bound net, but that does seem incredibly powerful. Just going to accept Dragon Knight's friend request there. Cool. Once these boys do sort themselves out. Yes, with the flame cannon. I haven't looked at that replay yet. It'll probably. I probably will put it up away, but it won't be for maybe a week or so, because I've actually had a flame cannon replay up on the channel the other day. I love a flame cannon. There's a ton of insane people that main Wood Elves. Yeah, but have they killed Britonians over and over again with the Wood Elves? What part of the UK are you from, Malverde? Oh god, Zablaski with Wood Elves is gonna be scary. But who knows? I mean, it might switch the Wood Elf meta up so much that they're more suited to people who use other factions rather than the current Wood Elf meta. I just hope they get a few more styles, so they're a little less predictable. That would be the thing for me. Oh god, yeah, Loopy. Loopy's very good. Loopy's good. I don't know if Zyphos is playing so much recently. I haven't seen him around in quite some time. I think I saw him on King of the Hill, maybe. So, of course, Zyphos is very good with all factions, but particularly the Elves, and the Wood Elves not being an exception to that. Yeah, that's a good matchup. Honestly, Zablowski, Loopy, Zyphos, Falcon and Sooth, and Lotus. I haven't seen Lotus too much either. I hope he's all good and streaming still. I probably just missed them. Pretty bad timing. Sooth is good with every faction, so he cheats. He cheats by being good. He obviously doesn't actually cheat, but I mean, yeah. He's just too powerful. Him and Falcon, I think, in my opinion, are the 2 best players, and I think they're pretty close. But of course, Falcon's half my clanmate as well, so got to root for the Dark Lord himself. Here we go, Tower of Hoeth, one of the OG maps in Torment play. Lovely castle here. Funny fact, for a few of you might not know, you can actually Vanguard forces in here, which is pretty hilarious. I've seen Illyrian Reavers kind of stream out of here and charge into the rear of the enemy. So you can be pretty sneaky and do that. There's a large forested terrain on this right-hand flank for some sneaky stabbings. You can sneak through and close down the enemy, but at the same time, there's so much open ground, and even if someone forces their way through the forest, you can kind of just chill, like over on the side here, and shoot through as well if you want to go for a defensive build. So it's a map with multiple options, which is what I quite like. Oh, you heard that Lotus might be taking a break. That's true. But today he came back streaming. Okay, that's good. It's good to take a break now and again. I actually don't play the game like a huge amount, because I don't want to get like tired of it at any point, because obviously I try and do a video at least every day as well. So I do play and try and keep myself sharp, but I don't kind of overplay at the moment. I definitely will be overplaying when the Wood Elves come out though, because I'm going to be a big fan of them. And here we go, guys. So for the forces of the Empire and Geese Howard, one of the coolest guys in the community all round, coming in with spearmen as well as swordsmen dotted all the way along the front line. Cheap, cheerful, there to do the dirty work and kind of pin in the forces and help clear out the chaff. We do have the Silver Bullets as well, regiment of renowned hand gunners, fantastic at taking down those large threats like the Terragooses and the like. We have the Hammer of the Witches as well, a glorious cannon piece here. Should be able to do some pretty decent long-range damage. We also have a Bright Wizard coming in with Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Rune, and Fireball. Those alongside Cascade and Firecloak are kind of the most competitive picks. We have a sway of or a slew, I suppose, of cavalry. Empire Knights mixed in with Knights of the Blazing Sun, Demigryph Knights with halberds, and more Knights as well. So a huge cav contingent, which is good to see. And we also have Volkmar the Grim now. I think he's really quite good in this matchup. He's going to be able to clear through the chaff very quickly, with his big burst damage coming in from the Grand Soulfire. Grand Shield of Faith, as well as the Grand Hammer, going to keep him fighting very nicely, and Banishment to help clear out chaff. So it's really going to be trying to deal with the big entities they're going to struggle with, which is where the Hammer comes in. Knights of the Blazing Sun, good up against anything that regenerates. Of course, Demigryph Knights, pretty cool stuff. Now for the forces of the Vampire Counts here and the Dragon Knight himself, no dragon in sight unfortunately, but he's going to be coming with a mixture of Skeleton Warriors, Graveguard and Zombies dotted all the way along. It looks like, how many Graveguard do we have? Just the 2. Oh no, 3 Graveguard. No Regiment Renown, surprisingly. We do have Cane Wraiths as well, which I always find these guys super risky, but they can certainly pay off as well if they're all terror-causing units. Empire don't have the best leadership, so they can certainly do some work. We have Crypt Horrors as well as triple Blood Knights, glorious stuff. So the Dragon Knight is leading the Blood Knights into combat. Heavily elite, fantastic shock cavalry. Leadership Corps, we have a White King on foot here, working as a bodyguard for Henrik Kemmler. And Henrik is incredibly squishy, but he does come in with Lord of the Undead to summon Krell, Cloak of Mist and Shadows, which makes him incredibly tanky for a while. We also have Raise Dead and Invocation of Nahek, and the Chaos Tomb Blade. Really fun builds coming by both of these guys. I'm excited to see how this does happen. It's going to be a weird game. Graveguard can certainly grind through the frontline engagements, and Blood Knights have the potential to swarm quite heavily here, but Volkmar is going to have a whale of a time in this matchup as well, as long as he doesn't get surrounded by those pesky knights. Looks like Dragon Knight is ready, saying good luck, have fun. Let's take that down. And who's your money on, boys? Yeah, so you can get outnumbered if you go full Demigryphs. It can be pretty potent as well. It often does depend on what your opponent has brought. The Hammer of Witches is starting to advance here. This urn could kind of be a little bit annoying here, so it looks like this other cannon doesn't really want to move properly, but should be able to fire through by the looks of it. Zombies are destroying High Elf architecture. This grudge will not go unsettled. The Empire clearly very upset about this. Going to be firing forward, and does Volkmar do magic damage? I feel like he does, yes. He does magic and fire damage, so these Cane Wraiths certainly don't want to engage up against the glorious Volkmar and his Tash of Tashes. And Knights of the Blazing Sun as well, coming with fire damage, could be pretty useful here overall. Looks like the Empire Knight's just scouring for any vanguards on pesky, scurvy dogs, but he is all fine. Empire forces are going to be realigning here, getting ready to go into combat. The Silver Bullets as well also do magic damage, so looks like they're trying to get their sights over on the Cane Wraiths, but they're pushing forward a little bit too much here, so they're probably going to have to fall back and chill out just a little bit. A miscast does come down by the Bright Wizard, which is a little bit unfortunate, though it looks like his fireball is going to be shot regardless. Certainly going at Henrik here as it coasts through the air, and is his firebending on point? It is a direct hit, doing massive damage. Henrik is very squishy, takes a not quite a third of his health there, so he's not doing too bad. Volkmar contemplating charging forward, and honestly he might as well at this point. Running over Skeleton Warriors, all the Blood Knights are quite far away, anything that can pin him in is over the other side of the battlefield. So he's going to take this time to charge in with the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and hammer home this left-hand flank, which is really nice play. Cane Wraiths, do they have weakness to fire? I feel like they do, but they don't. Okay, so they're actually holding relatively firm here. Trying their best. It looks like a Grand Soulfire is coming down, nuking Skeleton Warriors and Graveguard alike. Volkmar already up to 25 kills, but in comes the Horde of the Undead. The Undead don't really care, I suppose, how many you kill. As long as they win at the end of the day, they can simply summon everyone back. Blood Knights are floating around this flank, going to be getting a really lovely into the pocket situation if they continue to go round here. Another fireball does hit Henrik Kemmler, or Heinrich there, taking massive damage, and a big banishment goes gloriously down the line. Not getting full contact, but it's really decent work on those Graveguard, tearing them apart. Volkmar must be on an absolute killing spree at this point. 105 kills, plus a burning head. These compact undead units get absolutely destroyed, making these swordsmen feel like they're gods here as they break through 3 units. Lovely play, and actually almost clips a few of the Graveguard, but driving through the fire and the flames is the Blood Knights. And they're going to be arcing forward here. looking to perhaps pin in Volkmar if possible. I think a better route would be to go up and around, overwhelm the Knights of the Blazing Sun here, and push in, take out that cannon. And another Burning Head comes in, once again trying to snipe out Kemmler, who did get a little heal, and that one only skirts past him. They're not doing the most damage. Empire Knights are leading astray a unit of Blood Knights and Crypt Horrors, which is a really good situation for Geese Howard, because value-wise, getting these two guys off the field is much more important than losing Empire Knights, and these guys can simply kite away into the distance. So, good situation there for the Empire. However, White King going very strong, and the Zombies and Graveguard are still amassed, pushing through. We're going to need to see some big burning heads through here. Looks like Demigryph Knights with Halberds have engaged the Blood Knights with the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and the cannon is punching Henrik at this point. Krell has been summoned, but once again being kited here by the Empire, so good work so far by Geese Howard, getting some good engagements, I think, but it's going to be enough with a lot of his troops starting to break through. The back line is going to get a bit worrying here. Henrik did get another indication, although you can see his healing cap already, and another fireball does clip him. I think that Volkmar needs to get in here and start messing up a little bit of this front line. Brilliant play here, though. You saw that he used the swordsman as a buffer to allow his knights to pull back. They've simply wheeled around again and charged back into the fray. Brave sons of Sigma there, charging in and doing decent damage to the Blood Knights all round as well. So really well played there. Spearmen starting to saturate as well, but Dragon Knights has pushed through the centre pocket. Volkmar desperately trying to hold them back, and that cannon's done some really good work. Only 18 kills, but target down Henrik Kemmler there, who's also being hit by silver bullets. He's getting danger low at this point and starting to crumble, and down he goes. I think that was the last cannon shot there actually must have taken him out, and with that I think the Empire in a dominant position. Blood Knights slowly being dragged down here by Knights of the Blazing Sun and Demigryphs. It looked like the push for the middle came a tiny bit too late as the Knights of the Blazing Sun charge in, lances down once more as Volkmar pushes in. I think he still has one banishment left as well. In fact, as I say it, down it goes. Tearing through some skeleton warriors and zombies, so not the most efficient use of it, but it helps clear through the chaff at least. And in the distance, this was a big problem, unfortunately, for the counts. And this can happen to experienced players as well. Blood Knights did manage to hunt down the Empire Knights, but they've just been dragged out of position for so long that it wasn't really a worthwhile trade, despite the fact that they will win that engagement and drive them off. They're kind of needed to help deal with the cav core of the Empire. As you can see, the Knights of Blazing Sun and Demigryphs incredibly beat up, and one more unit of Blood Knights and Crypt Horrors really could have changed the battle here all round, and helped them push through, shut down the cannon. And it's a pesky Bright Wizard who's done some fantastic work with his burning heads and fireballs. Graveguard quite happy to fight the Knights of Blazing Sun in combat despite the buffs there. Volkmar 167 kills, an absolute world beater. Looks like army losses is about to set in here as well. The White King kind of trying to hold the pieces together at this point. But Hammer Witches up to only 18 kills, but did big damage to key targets. And the poor White King is going to be disintegrating here as army losses does set in. And well played to both of these guys. And it looks like Geese Howard is going to take the initiative in this last best of 3. And next game could be the final game. Are we going to see Dragon Knights claw this one back in place for NK here? Or is Geese Howard going to claim victory for DBD? Find out next time on Harapalaka War TV. So Volkmar, real MVP here, 173 kills, decimating elite infantry, cane wraiths, and kind of some lovely support abilities as well. Lovely micromanagement all round of cavalry, not only drawing away the enemy with some Empire Knights getting good value that way, but also cycle charging in the front line, helping to swarm and overrun the Blood Knights. Very well played. GG, well played. That was a truly great game, and a good way to set off this best of 3. We are on to Pillar of Bone next. Well, where are you? There we are. Pillar of Bone next. Oh, don't want to stream them there. Dragon to pick and ban. Let's update the scoreboard. As DBD have one hand on the trophy there. As they just need one more point here to seal victory. But NK certainly can come back into this. And if they get 2 back-to-back wins here, we'll claim the title. Where are the grenade launchers? This build does not have my consent. Yeah. Stormrunner sums up there, 2,500 gold, chasing 800 gold. That's kind of the I don't know if it would have won him the game, but it would have kept him certainly in the game, and it made it much closer. And quite possibly could have. I mean, you saw that Empire Cav at the end there was battered, and State Troops aren't going to hold up much to, cycle charging Blood Knights and Cryptors and the like. So it would have come down to the fact, could Volkmar have held his ground a little bit more and beaten back the cavalry in the end game. Of course, he's unbreakable, does decent damage as well, has some nice buffs, but it would have been pretty damn close. Yeah, the cycle charging really did pay off for the Empire, but really well played, honestly. It was still a very good game overall. Cool. Just waiting on Dragon to pick and ban. Let's quickly check Discord, make sure there was no questions. Boop. Oh, sorry. Dragonlight messaged me his Steam code. I didn't see it in time, but he managed to find the lobby anyway, which is all good. Cool. Yeah, nothing too important there. Looks like Dragon is considering his options here. Robert War, such an intuitive name. Robert War, yeah. I remember when I first started out the channel, I was actually like 3 videos in. My early videos are terrible, because I'm not a very tech savvy person, so my sound and stuff was all horrible. But when I first started, I ended up running into Turin on one of my first multiplayer games, and he ended up casting it. And all the comments on the video was like, "Oh, Robert Duck of War, that's a really cool name. He should be a caster or something." I was like, "I am. Come watch me do my stuff." So I'm pretty happy with the name. It actually came about because I have a friend who's called a Penguin of War, which I have no idea how he came up with that name. And from there, I became a Robert Duck of War, and it just kind of arced on. There's a longer story to it, but I won't bore you with it all. And plus, of course, I am actually a duck, which is why there's no face cam today. My body double human wasn't here to take the fall for me. But welcome, Barbecue. Not sure if you've been here the whole time, or if you've just rocked up here, but hopefully you are enjoying whatever you are seeing. No! Oh, he picked Vampirates, banned Wood Elves and Dowie, and Geese Howard is going for the mirror match. No. Oh no. Undead mirror matches are terrible, as well as undead. Oh, dwarf mirror matches. Oh, this is going to be painful. This is going to be painful. Ducks are OP lizards confirmed, 100%. Oh no. Oh, this is so upsetting. No, man. Oh, Geese. I said you were a cool guy earlier. I take back everything. If you ever meet Geese, go full cheese builds against him. Ban them both. This is where the fun begins. Oh, what's up, Zach, man? How's it going? Good to see you here, man. You just tuned in for the worst battle of the stream. I can call it now. We have a Vampire mirror match. But it's going good. We're doing a clan war. So anyone who's joined late, we did clan war between DBD and NK here, which stands for Necropolis, I believe. And they're an Italian clan. Super cool guys as well. So glad to have them featured on the channel for the first time. And it should be some good fun. So it's going to be 3 best of 3s. This is the last best of 3. And DBD have kind of 1 foot over the finish line here, as there's 2 points left on the board, and they have a point lead. Please no mirror. If he wants to, he can. It's up to Geese. I'm not going to say he can't do it. Welcome to Total War Empire, Undead Edition. Indeed. Just in time for a ranged mirror match, yeah. But we've, the whole thing will be uploaded, Zach, as well. It tends to take about, it takes a long time for it to upload now. It's really weird. It used to take like 2 hours for my streams to upload. And since the YouTube update, it'll be uploaded like tomorrow morning at some point when it gets all processed and stuff. But if you keep this tab open, you can just scroll back. and catch all the previous games, and you can just jump to them as well if you don't want to hear my mad ramblings in between games. And we've had some crazy good games. It's been a really close faction war. One of the best ones we've hosted. It's been some good stuff. I love this mirror though. You can play, man. Up to you. I don't think I've ever seen a coast mirror. Well, Brandon, you haven't been missing out on too much. It's basically a load of undead zombies shooting another load of undead zombies. It'd be interesting. Maybe worth going a load of sirens. Or sure, man. Sorry, I assumed a Steam message. From Killarino, who's actually a really good kind of new player to the game. Cool. Looks like it is going to be the dreaded mirror match. Someone bring the thumb screws. I agree, Zach, completely. Okay. So, how to explain clans to you, Zach? So basically, clans are just groups of people who come together, and they often have like a similar idea of how they want to play the game or a similar theme. So, I actually created DBD, which stands for Death Before Dishonor, and the idea behind Death Before Dishonor was to get a group of players together whose main goal in the game was obviously to have fun, but also have good sportsmanship. So kind of no cheating, good kind of just like not being rude to people or like horrible or any of that type of stuff. That was kind of the only real kind of catch, I suppose, to join the clan, was just you have to have, value sportsmanship above kind of losing. So you wouldn't cheat to win, basically. And hence Death Before Dishonor. You'd rather lose, i.e. death before dishonouring yourself in any way. We've also kind of teamed up with Extreme Meme Team. We're now sister clans, so we sometimes operate under the name like Extreme Meme Ducks or Extreme Duck Memes. So we kind of represent, we kind of come together and unify as a force, or we can also represent ourselves, the Extreme Meme Team and DBD. But different people have different ideas. Of course, Extreme Meme Team, for example, likes people who meme and kind of bring really fun builds, and that's what they kind of go for. If you have any more questions, feel free to PM me on Discord. And yeah, so the Extreme Meme Team Discord is like public, so is my Discord, but you'll often have like hidden chats and stuff just for the clanmates. But if you're interested in signing up, because obviously I've spoken to you a few times and stuff now and whatnot, I'd happily have you as a member of DBD. There's no pressures to even have a tag on your name. You can just, it gives you access to kind of playing in events like Clan Wars, and you get to chill out with a load of cool guys. But again, no pressure if you don't want to do that kind of thing. Yes, hidden chats for our schemes, exactly. Which Archon will crumble first? Yes, I want a Monster Rush and I want a Depth Guard Rush. Those are the only two things I deem necessary. Yes, you're the masterless Brigadier here for the time being. But yeah, Zach, honestly, if you wanted to join, you would be more than welcome to join DBD. I think you do great work in the community. For those who don't know, Zach hosts training grounds over on the Noobhammer Discord, where new players and experienced players come together twice a week to kind of educate some of the newer players, help them out, give them advice on tactics and builds, and it's generally just a good laugh. I've kind of tuned into the last few and just had some good fun playing some games and giving kind of little snippets of advice where possible. But yes, so it should be good fun. Imagine if the bloats come out. I feel like Geese may meme a little bit. When I've seen him bring Vampire Coast before, he loves a cheeky bloated boy and a hell cannon. Bloat corpses will really struggle to make value here because they're not good against any of the single entities. They get negative value on zombies, so they basically have to hit depth guard. So it's a pretty niche application. Yeah, I don't know where Raptor is. I don't know. Maybe he got really far and ever chosen or something, which I know the qualifications is going on now. I think we're ahead of the stream, luckily. So I'll probably eat dinner and watch that stream afterwards. But I think we're the only ones streaming at the moment, which is good. Just about in time. Yeah, Slav and Azak is always a highlight as well. Let's check the Discords now. I'm pretty sure Mr. Turin isn't streaming yet, which is good. So we can all hop over there and chill out there afterwards. So it won't be too much longer. We've got 1 or 2 games left to go. Can DBD claim victory? Or will NK scrap it back once more, as they have done in all the previous rounds as well, and bring it back to a glorious final game? Oh, he didn't play. Oh no. Perhaps he's off busy in the realms of Lustria as a raptor, going around and eating people. Stormrunner. I love the optimism. 10 bloody boys is the way this becomes great. So let's see. Probone, quite a large open map as well. A few little hills and trees for sneaky stabbings. I'm really praying one of these boys is coming with a rush build. Preferably both, because if they both come in with long-range shooty builds, this battle is going to go on for about 7 years, roughly. And I'm going to age horribly. Ducks don't have long life expectancies, unfortunately. We gobble too much bread up, and it makes us ill, unfortunately. Well, the bread's not actually that bad for ducks, by the way. If you can still feed bread to ducks. It's not great for them, in the same way that bread's not great for humans, but it's not like going to instantly kill them or anything, so I know a lot of ducks actually started starving, because in areas where they would normally get food, they no longer did. But anyway, enough of like random duck facts. Here we go. So coming in for the blue is going to be Geese Howard. So the blue vampires coming with double Mongols, one of which is the Knight Terrors, a regiment of renowned version which cause terror, which isn't going to matter too much here. But they do have pretty decent stats all round. Can unfortunately rampage, which gets them in a bit of a pickle. Looks like we're having a bit of a rush build. Rotten Leviathan is going to be rolling dirty with the Lamprey's Revenge over on this right-hand flank, as well as a triple bronze chevron bloated corpse. Now, if someone can explain to me the bonus of the chevrons on bloated corpse, please do. I assume it doesn't change the damage output too much, increase leadership and melee attack. Maybe it does. And maybe increases health or something to keep him going a little bit more. Frontline, cheap and cheerful as to be expected. Polearms and mobs dotted all the way along, as one unit of depth guard are going to be there to back them up as well. So a nice rush build coming from Geese, which is rather nice considering he's the one at fault for this mirror. We have Count Noctis and Foot as well. Raised Dead and Invocation the Heck can be pretty pivotal. More Scurvy Dogs as well are dotted around the flanks, expecting more of a ranged build. Now for the forces here of Dragon Knight, in the front lines, again, cheap and cheerful deckhand mobs, but also bombers, which will decimate the front line if they're allowed to fire. We have double Sirens as well in the centre pocket, backing up this front line, and handgunners as well, dotted kind of around the back line. A ton of artillery. It looks like we are going for 1, 2, 3 carronades here. In fact, 4 carronades, which is pretty crazy stuff, as well as some Scurvy Dogs to protect them, and Counter-Noculus and a Gunnery White. So 2 very different styles of play here. And I worry quite heavily here for a Geese Howard's build. He needs to shut down those cannons quickly, otherwise they're going to Shrek that Rhine Leviathan and Lamprey's Revenge. There's not too much they can do about it. The Bloated Boy as well may unfortunately get ambushed by some Scurvy Dogs, which would probably be worth it for the Scurvy Dogs to like make him jump and then try and juke as much of the damage as possible. What's up, Von? Oh no, I've got rid of my YouTube chat. Let me get that back up again. I was trying to zoom in. Yes, but Arcadius is here. Yes, Banner Roll Storm. Which I think 1, 2, 3, 4 carronades is fine, because I'm pretty sure you can bring like 5 cannons or something ridiculous as dwarfs. So I think it's all nice and legal. If it's not, let me know and we can sort it out with the players. Should be all good. I think they're both ready to go. Ready when you are, bud. Good to see. We'll get this underway. Sirene's going to be pretty good here as well. I do like the Mongol rush. These guys are going to tear apart the infantry, and there's nothing really to stop them apart from the long range. If they can pressure the bomber, I mean, they've got a lot of pressure though. But if they can get to the back line, they can certainly do some decent work here all round. Good luck, have fun. Looks like the boys are good to go. Oh, it's fine then, yes. All good stuff. Cool. So the forces are going to advance in. In comes the rush. Count Noctis is going to be lagging behind a little bit. Now, where is the bloaty boy? Where did he go? It's going to be the most important thing. He's trying to hide in the Rotting Leviathan at this point, who's taking cannon shots, and this is really risky by Geese Howard, as the Bloaty Corpse actually takes a cannon shot, and if he gets hit here, he will explode, and he does do damage to his own troops, and he's right next to the very expensive depth guard. Oh, that was so close. If one more cannonball would hit the Bloaty boy, that would be a half unit of depth guard just gone instantly, which is pretty hilarious. Royal Leviathan and Bloaty Corpse rolling far too close together, I think, because the stray cannonballs could finish off the Bloaty boy. And of course, he is the undoubtedly key to victory. Looks like we are seeing an Invocation of the Heck actually go down, and the Bloaty boy explodes, doing damage to the Royal Leviathan as well in a puff of green goo. Luckily, the depth guard got out of the way, taking a tiny amount of damage, losing a couple of models. That could have been disastrous, though. If that happened in the early volley and the depth guard just exploded and died, that was just... oh, that would have been horrible. Anyway, in comes the rush build. The Lamprey's Revenge taking a huge amount of damage now, as well as the Rotting Leviathan. It's all going to come down to how fast can they break through and shut down these cannons, as the Royal Leviathan down below half health already, and the Lamprey's Revenge just getting absolutely destroyed, and he's already used up a heal already, which is pretty bad news for him, as it's still on cooldown at this point, and it's looking pretty rough instantly for Geese Howard. However, Scurvy Dogs are now hunted into the back line, hopping on top of the gunnery mob as well as a carronade here. Could get a nice little 2-for-1 action. Polearms are a little bit slow to respond here, and over on the right-hand flank, more Scurvy Dogs have put pressure on, which is going to hopefully allow the Rotten Leviathan to be healed up here, as it does start hammering down one of the carronades. But Count Noctis is going to say hello. He's in the mood for seafood, it would seem, and he can easily kind of bring down the Rotten Leviathan. Nice summon of gunnery mobs as well. Should be able to turn and engage to finish that bad boy off. Mongols, though, are swamping through the front lines, decimating everything they touch. Only up to 6 kills so far, actually, so nothing too crazy. But Scurvy Dogs' pressure is quite nice in the flanks here. And the Lamprey's Revenge have managed to recover a little bit. 6 models of these guys remain, and they're going to be looping into the back line now as well. Watching Leviathan still somehow going alive here. Depth Guard are grinding through the front line, only 10 kills. They're actually being blocked off by their own troops here, which is a little bit unfortunate for them. They need to push forward to get real good value, as the Sirens are destroying all the other zombies as well. Things looking pretty bleak at the moment. Lamprey's Revenge, though, are going to shut down another carronade as well, do some pretty decent damage there all round. And the Night Terrors are now kind of feasting quite happily, up to 50 kills. And a lot of the long-range firepower has been shut off, but at the same time, there's now a nice repositioning fire base up on top of the high ground here. Scurvy Dogs, though, pushing in once more to feast, and they need to get in here and shut this down as quickly as possible. As this poor corpse of this Rotten Leviathan did go down without getting too much value, did at least cause a bit of a distraction. Now, where is the second unit of Mongols? It looks like... where have they gone? We have the Night Terrors on this flank, so I assume they're on the other side. And they're unfortunately doing some good damage, but again, just destroyed by bombers slowly. It looks like they may be saying hello to the afterlife once again relatively soon here. Carronades continue to hold firm at the moment, as some nice summons do come in to block down the Scurvy Dog charge. Although these guys do have 79 kills so far. Unfortunately for Geese Howard, Night Terrors, of course, are rampaging, which is quite unfortunate because they need them to kind of push through and put pressure on the enemy. And these Scurvy Dogs in the back line need to be dealt with, otherwise they're going to get insane value. 100 kills already, currently shutting down some handgunners as well as another unit of carronades. And they could simply float back here as well, destroy more handgunners. It looks like it's Geese Howard's time this time to summon some deckhand mobs in the back line, shutting down the handguns, and it looks like he may be clawing his way back into this game slightly, but some of the carronades are still going firm here. Scurvy Dogs are now finally arriving from Dragon Knight. They're in a deep deployment there. Looks like carronade on the left-hand side may be able to stabilise itself a little bit. Count Noctis is now surrounded, and he doesn't want to be fighting Sirens particularly. Here, against the other Count Noctis, he'll be doing okay, as he does have that bonus versus large with his mighty halberd here. Mongols are somehow just about clinging on to life here, down to just 500 health, trying to finish off the gunnery mobs bombers before they do go down, up to 122 kills. And it looks like they're not quite going to be able to fill that task. The real MVPs of this unit of Scurvy Dogs once again now darted into the back line, shutting down another unit of handgunners. The Scurvy Dog play has been top-notch so far from Geese Howard. Over on the left-hand side, there's just a mass of zombies, as Dragon Knight is desperately trying to save this carronade, but I think it might be a little too late. Dragon Knight Scove Dogs are cleaning up some troops in the back line. Grey White can do some decent damage over time, but the Night Terrors have done pretty good. 129 kills, trying to get in here and assist the Depth Guard, who are doing good as well. Fortunately, there's nothing great to counter the Sirens, who are causing a bit of problems, but if we can get them to crumble, it can go pretty well, and I think that Geese Howard may be in the ascendancy at this point after a pretty shaky start, which is to be expected, of course, with so many guns on the field. A summon as well by Geese Howard, once again going to be flooded in here to turn this part of the engagement in his favour and pull apart that last carronade. Scurvy Dog's actually doing cycle charging, which is pretty funny, dancing in and out, getting some pretty decent value, as Count Noctis here is surrounded and taking a lot of damage. Depth Guard are getting an fat invocation the heck on them as well, and that should allow them to chew through most of the remaining infantry. And Sirens may be ethereal, but Depth Guard do such a huge damage output that you can often kind of tear through them anyway. Count Noctis on foot as well, pretty damn tanky, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. But there's two of Sirens here, and their AP is doing pretty decent work actually. They're actually drag through the Depth Guard, who are also taking shots from Count Noctis, are trying to flee the engagement for now. Probably want to come over here and chew on some other units and heal up with that hunger ability. But the Sirens may be able to carry this. They've managed to do decent damage to the Night Terrors, who are now out of control and trying to do as much damage as possible. Scurvy Dogs are going to be fleeing here as well before coming back into the engagement. Probably going to hunt down the bombers and try and finish them off. And I think actually now Dragon Knight with the Siren combination here, looks like one unit is incredibly low, may be able to swing this once again, as the Night Terrors are struggling a little bit here. And maybe with some effective healing they can get back into the game, but there's a huge swath of Geese Howard's troops here as well, and it looks like they have managed to club most of the troops on this flank, and Depth Guard have surrounded the Gunnery White, which is pretty good. Count Noctis needs to fire some cannon shots through here. He do some insane damage right now, but these Berserker Axe infantry are starting to waver, but are getting healed up as well by assassinating the Gunnery White, and Sirens trying to hold the line. Count Noctis going after his counterpart here. As more powder is popped off to give him some extra ammunition. The Night Terrors, I was going to call them the Morgul Terrors there, which doesn't make any sense. The Morgul unit here is fleeing as the Sirens are kind of hunting them down, and I think the Sirens could come in with a hard carry here, as I don't think the combination of Count Noctis and Depth Guard will be able to mop up Count Noctis quick enough, and the Sirens with their AP will probably be able to swing this. But incredibly close game. Night Terrors and Scurvy Dogs charging once and for all for a final charge, as they are crumbling. So they want to get in there and just do as much damage as possible at this point. With the Depth Guard starting to crumble and Count Noctis being so healthy, he may be able to just kind of dumpster them here. 149 kills though, has done some pretty good work throughout. Count Noctis trying to push his way through and get onto his larger brethren here. Doing some okay damage as well, but Count is pretty damn tanky all round. As the Night Terrors once again fall back to do some more cycle charging. But minus 11 leadership, they don't really have much time to do this. There's only one left. I think it's probably worth just keeping them in combat for now. Probably some friendly fire coming in as well from the Noctis Meister himself. Depth Guard starting to struggle and waver at this point as a big cannon shot comes through and some friendly fire as well. But it's a happy trade to kill more of the elite Depth Guard. Sirens are wavering as well, but probably going to come down to Noctis on Noctis action, which is pretty cool stuff. The Foot Noctis does have the advantage here in combat because of the halberd up against the mounted version, but all the Sirens here I think are going to cause a pretty big problem, as they'll probably slowly be able to drag down Count Noctis. And it looks like it is just Noctis versus the world, 1 versus 112. He's trying to hunt down units where possible, but the cannon shots coming in are going to be a big problem here. Where's the pit of shades when you need it? I agree. I agree. Yeah, lovely pit of shades here would decimate the Sirens, but cannon shots coming in. Going to do some pretty big friendly fire as well. I mean, if Count Noctis can get through the Sirens, maybe there's a chance, but nah, it looks like he is going to drop out there. So it is going to go to the final game though, which is pretty exciting stuff. But Geese Howard got what he deserved for picking into this mirror matchup. Still actually quite fun build. Unfortunately for him, the Bloated Corpse going down as well as the Rotten Leviathan straight away caused some big problems, but fantastic Scurvy Dog play nearly dragged him back into it. But the Sirens, fantastic pick by Dragon Knight, managed to stick it in there into the end and come through with victory. GG, that hurt my soul on some level. It hurt my soul as well. But final game will be Alpine Ridge. Here we go. Alpine Ridge, final game. Dragon to pick and ban. Oh, pick 3 and ban 1. Then you ban 1 and pick. Cool. It was a good match, honestly. It was a good match. As far as Vampire Mirrors go, it wasn't just like a load of Carronades shooting a load of Carronades and each other just healing up and so forth. It was a nice play by Geese Howard. He really pushed for it, went aggressive. I'm just really upset about the bloated corpse, to be honest. Yes, game 9, let's go. It's gone all the way. Now it's time for the Darius of War. Don't tempt them. Please do not tempt them. So it is 4-all now. What a crazy clan war here. Going very close indeed. Yes, GG indeed. So it is the final game, guys, which means this is your final time to like the stream if you haven't already. Although I think we've got most of you guys actually have already. But yeah, feel free to get a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. I do all things Total War based, occasionally 1 or 2 other videos as well. But we stick mainly to Total War Warhammer. And feel free to subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. If you want to support the channel in any way, there is Super Chat, there's a link to PayPal donations and patrons and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you guys just being here, honestly, is a big support as well, and I really appreciate it. It's nice to see how much the channel has grown over the last few months. And if you want to get involved in events like these, feel free to join my Discord. There's a link in the description below. But yes. No! Bad Malverde, bad. No Dwarf Mirror. Don't encourage him. So it looks like a Dragon just having a little think about what he's going to pick. And I will quickly look through my Discord, make sure we're all good. So I have a few messages, I think we're all good. And cool, looks like no questions, so I pop back in here. Wait for these guys to sort their stuff out. Yeah, Skaven Civil War is pretty lore friendly, those guys. Greenskin Civil War as well, can be quite fun. But none of the shooty factions, so hopefully no more mirrors. And that wasn't too hard to cast though, because both the forces were really kind of, you know, differentiated quite easily. Big kind of rush build versus the defensive build, so it wasn't too tough. Samuel, no! Stop this madness! Dowie Slayer only mirror. I've seen, like, the funnest one I see is when I see, like, Empire versus Dwarfs or something, or Britonia versus Dwarfs, and they bring Gotrek against the Dwarfs. I always love to see that in action. But yeah, that was, as far as mirrors go, that was probably the best we could hope for. It has come to this, the final showdown. The lads aren't actually playing, there's no like prize pool or anything today, it's just kind of for the pride of the clan, which is the best way I think I'm going to do clan wars for the most part, to keep them just nice and friendly and chilled out tournaments. The prizes tend to be on the big kind of DBD series we run, which is the Death Before Dishonor tournaments, which should hopefully be starting up again next week. I'm just kind of waiting for the ever-chosen qualifiers to get out of the way, because it's kind of become a running joke on my Discord, but I will always somehow clash. Like, all of my tournaments will somehow clash with Turins. I don't know how it happens, but it always does. So I'm kind of waiting for those to be over, and then I'll pick mine up. Vampire counts, only zombies. Oh, even better, only corpse carts. Make sure our dragon's all good. He might just be contemplating, which is fine, of course. Not in any particular rush. Cool. Looks like it. So he's going to be picking Tomb Kings, Chaos, and Dwarfs. Oh, the Dwarf mirror is on the cards. And he's going to be banning High Elves. So now what Geese Howard will do is he'll ban one of Tomb Kings, Chaos, and Dwarfs, pick a faction himself, and then Dragon Knight will pick one of his remaining 2. So for example, Geese Howard could pick High Elves. Oh no, not High Elves, because they're bad, but could pick Wood Elves, ban Tomb Kings, and then Dragon Knight would pick between Chaos and Dwarfs. Which would definitely be Dwarfs in that matchup, because they destroy Wood Elves very comfortably. Wood Elves are a really cool faction, but they have some matchups they have horrendous time with, which is Dwarfs and Britonia in particular, very rough for Wood Elves. Yeah, Geese has to go Beastmen, surely. Geese is one of the few Beastmen mains. So I feel like he's going to go Beastmen. I don't know who's going to ban here. I do not know. I wouldn't like to face Dwarfs, but I feel like a good Chariot play would work quite well there. Yeah, banning Tomb Kings, picking Beastmen. We get to see some Beastmen action, guys. So rare you get to see top level Beastmen players. I know Flying Taco's a fantastic Beastmen player as well. He actually had some awesome games up against Anticity with Beastmen on one of my streams. Dowie and High Elves. Yeah, but Ronan, you're the one weird kid who happily plays against Britonia as Wood Elves. I say that with love rather than... but most people hate facing Britonia as Wood Elves. Oh, Beastmen, more like Leastmen. Oh! Zach coming in with the smack talk. So I have to wait to see who Dragon Knight does indeed pick. So he's going to have the option here of Chaos or Dowie. Now, Beastmen versus Chaos would be a weird fight. I don't think I've seen that matchup, at least not in a long time. And Dowie, I think it's all going to come down to a spamming of Chariots, pretty much. And, you know, Harpies pressure back line and Bestigors are quite good there. There's a lot of things you can do. And you say you're not the only one running. The only one I've seen who... actually, no, I've seen Dacta as well go against Britonia with Wood Elves and pick them apart pretty nicely. It's really tough, though. You kind of have to go Way Watchers and just fall back between layer after layer of troop. Chaos! The Dark Gods will determine this clan war. Both clans have become desperate and have turned their sights to the Dark Ones to try and drag themselves through to the final here. And this is the deciding factor, guys. For all, only one of these guys can come out on top. Is there going to be Geese Howder, DBD, or Dragon Knight representing NK? Who's your money on? Who are you rooting for? Let me know. Sarge saying he thinks Chaos could do it. Dowie is kind of suicide. It can be tough for Dowie. And he has indeed gone Chaos, so should be interesting stuff overall. I'm excited to see what Geese does bring. He brings some pretty wild Beastmen builds, no pun intended. It's some pretty crazy stuff all around. I'm just going to quickly check stream, make sure it's all rolling strong. Stream health is all good. Awesome, awesome. Cool, let's pop back into here. And wait for these boys for the final showdown. The ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It was a animated song before YouTube was even invented, before YouTube was even a thing. It was on like loads of different websites, and it's probably up on YouTube now. It's God, that's like peak internet back in the day, like my childhood. The internet was a weird place. There was a lot of content creators back then as well, but the content was incredibly strange. Like ASDF movie as well. And loads of kind of wild stuff. Where now it's all a little bit more refined. A little bit more checked of what goes on the internet and stuff. But there was some crazy awesome stuff back in the day. The internet was a wild west at that time. So here we are. Alpine Ridge. Nice map. OG actually. It used to be on Rome Total War. Although the map has gone through different iterations since then and has changed vastly. On Rome Total War, the whole map was this one big hill. Much like the top map on this is Altar of Darkness. Yeah, Ultimate Darkness. But now it's just a bit of a shot blocker in that centre pocket. And those trees kind of dotted around the flanks and stuff. And it's quite thematic of both these guys trying to claw their way to the top of the hill to claim the crown for their clans. Yeah, I think it's think Park Map, Sarja are both there. So relatively even, maybe slightly Beastmen favoured, but not a huge match. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like, Beastmen have the speed here, so they can skirmish a bit better, but Chaos have the better cav, so it'll be interesting to say the least. I think these guys are probably going to relatively even. I don't know who Dragon Knight tends to play. I don't know if this is like one of his main factions, but this is Geese Howard's like #1 faction. So he's saved the less one to last, just trying to pull this through. Cygor would be fun. Like, if he was... I mean, Geese Howard doesn't actually often bring Morga. He actually tends to bring some of the off-kilter lords, which is always interesting. I guess he's had so much time to experiment with them, but yeah. Morga the Shadowgave with the Chaos Spawn summons, and then Cygor summons could just do huge work here. So yeah, Cygor and Spawn Rush could certainly be on the cards. Personally, I hope to see Minotaurs, because Minotaurs are awesome. And I really hope they bring in the Doom Balls and Taurox, the Brassborn, all that kind of good stuff. Because the Beastmen have a ton of units they can still bring in. There's a lot of like big monsters and stuff yet to come for them. Which they'll get, you know, pimped up at some point. Much like the Wood Elves are getting done now. I'm so happy they're doing DLC for DLC now as well. Which I always knew they would. I don't know why people said, like, oh, they're never going to do it. I'm like, oh no, I feel like there's a lot of money to be made, so... Cool, Geese is ready. Yeah, Big Bird can do good here, and Dragon Ogres. We could even see the... oh god, blanking on their name. You can tell when, like, if you just join, you don't even have to look to see how long I've been streaming for, because I start to forget words and my mind kind of turns to mush after like a couple of hours of streaming. The Summoners of Rage. We could well see the Summoners of Rage. That's who I was thinking of. On an unrelated note, I really need to get some battles in outside of the training session as well, Zach. If you hop onto my Discord, there's a Find Opponent section. You can just kind of pop your name down there and face off against a couple of guys. There's always kind of people knocking around ready to play. What's up, Roland? Representing Geese. Honk honk. Go Geese. Nice to see you around, buddy. Hope you're doing all good. So you've just arrived. I don't think I've seen you in chat up until this point, but if you have just arrived, you've made it in time for the final game of this clan war between DBD and NK. And it's tied all the way up into the final game. We've done 3 best of 3s, and they've all gone 2-1, 2-1, and now 1-all. Come on, Dragon, win for the glory of Italy! This better be on Italian news if they win. I'm going to be very upset with Italy as a country if this doesn't make the national news. So let's see, as we load in to the final showdown. Should be some good stuff. Alpine Ridge, such a glorious map. I get the lovely mountains in the distance. Maybe the Dwarfs are looking on from some hidden strongholds and laughing as these two enemies of theirs go to war against each other. I'm very excited for Chaos Dwarfs in Total Warhammer 3. Them and Hobgoblins. Parkmat betraying his DBD clan for Tiller, is that what I see? Parkmat was actually a MVP here. He's the one who set up this clan war. So massive props to him. And he's a OG DBD member and OG of the channel. So quickly, let's go through Geese Howard's build here. For leadership, he has indeed gone Morga the Shadowgave, who is just by far the best pick in my opinion. And of course, he's going to be coming in with his ability to summon Chaos Spawn. We also have a Brave Shaman of Shadows coming in with Enfeebling Foe and Pendulum, up on top of a Razorgore Chariot, giving him pretty decent AP. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a bomb rush build. Ungor Spearheads aren't going to do too much, but their job here is to take the charge and absorb the damage, and allow the rush to really punish the enemy, and it is a crazy rush. We have Chaos Spawn mixing with Minotaurs with great weapons slotted all the way along here. I think I prefer the ones with shields, actually, even in this matchup. But these guys all do good against the big Dragon Oaks and stuff, I suppose. We have double Razorgore herds as well, lurking in the back, one of the best value for kind of points units in the game, and double Chaos Warhounds over on this flank, hidden in the trees, which is really nice positioning. Royal Horse Masters are going to want to push forward and punish the Spawn and Minotaurs, and they can simply jump out and kind of pounce on the enemy. Now for the forces of Chaos here, coming in for the Dragon Knight. We do have double Marauder Horsemen over on this flank, protected by an escort of Chaos Warhounds with poison. Nice use. I always like to see people escort their skirmish cavalry. For the main battle line, we have Chaos Warriors dotted along, who are going to suffer quite badly under the might of Minotaurs and Chaos Spawn. Chaos Marauders are mixed in there as well, as more as double Marauder Horseman on the right-hand flank as well. So 4 in total, once again escorted by some Chaos Warhounds with poison. In the very centre pocket, we do have a Mirror Guard, a regiment of renowned Chaos Warriors who do love to look at themselves quite a lot, and they can do some pretty decent work all round, certainly be able to chew through those Ungors. We have Dragon Ogres, who do have anti-large, as well as the Summoners of Rage, regiment of renowned version, who are full of anger. Will do very good up against the rush all round. We have more Chaos Warhounds as well, and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire. I love this pick, pin him in the air. He basically is unkillable at this point, as long as he doesn't land, so you can get full value from his spells. He has Burning Head, Cascading Fire Cloak, and Fireball. Look at the builds. Honestly, the Chaos build, I know people saying it may be slightly against them favour-wise, looks pretty good. I mean, the Summoners of Rage and Dragon Ogres should be able to help beat down the Spawn and Minotaurs, and there's just going to be consistent fireballs throughout the game, killing off characters and doing good work as well to Minotaurs. One mistake you can make, and I've made in the past, is trying to shoot fireballs and Morga, because he has weakness to fire, but at the same time, he has a 25% magic resistance, and he heals, so it's pretty much pointless to shoot him with fire. Yes. I always wondered if fire damage should actually, rather than extra damage, just be like unhealable damage. That they can't physically heal back, because I believe they can't heal because fire cauterizes the wound, and therefore it's kind of like it can't really grow. At least that's what I seem to remember from lore of why fire stops you from healing. Looks like they're both ready to go here. And the battle is underway. These Chaos Warhounds are going to be really pivotal for the Beastmen to hunt down these horsemen where possible. But honestly, like, in a crew of 3 like this, if they charge some Warhounds, they'd be able to dump them, perhaps. At this point, obviously, both forces can't see each other's full builds because of the giant hill in the middle. Of course, is the shot blocker. Chaos Warhounds are now darting in. Now, at this point, it looks like he is going to respond and perhaps fall back, which could be a problem because he falls back and attacks with the Chaos Warhounds. The other Warhounds will loop around, but it looks like he may be onto this. But Warhounds very quickly dart across the field and start feasting their fangs into the horsemen. The Chaos Warriors are running for their lives. The Poison probably want to turn around again and bottleneck these troops in as much as possible. Although the Chaos ones are getting absolutely destroyed here. As the Beastmen ones do run them over. Some of the Horsemen as well have been caught. So good early catch so far as the Beastmen rush does decide to push down the hill here. They've gained the high ground, making Obi-Wan a proud Jedi indeed. But it looks like the other horsemen have now engaged onto this flank, and all 4 are firing in, as the Beastmen just launch themselves down this hill. This is a glorious Beastmen build for sure, coming in just to try and hammer down the enemy. It looks like the horsemen are kind of wasting some javelins here on the wrong targets. Summoners of Rage and Dragonos are going in, but relatively unassisted here, and this could be a big problem, as Minotaurs with great weapons are now going to get the lovely counter charge on them, and Enfeebling Foe has been popped, and the Summoners of Rage probably want to fall back here. Chaos Spawn are going to wrap up and around and pin these troops in, which is pretty scary stuff. Ungor Spearmen run into Marauders, but they are supported by Chaos Spawn here, so that engagement won't go too badly for them. And yeah, you can see Summoners of Rage, upgraded Enfeebling Foe, gives it an extended duration, and they're getting slaughtered by the Minotaurs with great weapons. And lovely play here. Geesheld pulls them back, allows the Razorgores to charge in, and then these guys can once again do some lovely cycle charging. Summoners of Rage down to about half health, but we're going to have a colossal Burning Head coming through. Geese does manage to spot this, however, and takes a bit of damage on the Ungor Spear herds, but nothing too crazy. However, it is going to go through the secondary line here, chewing through some Chaos Marauders, and oh no! Is this going to keep going? It goes also through Chaos Warriors and Chaos Marauders. Massive friendly fire there. Also followed up by a Pendulum. Really unlucky. Good play initially, and a good idea. It could have got a ton of units, but it actually ended up doing way more kind of friendly fire damage. Chaos Spawn have been summoned in the back lines. We're going to harass the Horsemen and just force them off as the Beastmen look to crump these Chaos forces. Summoners of Rage are pretty much done for at this point, down to just 600 health, and the Minotaurs scream supreme. However, Dragon Ogres on this other flank have a nice engagement up against some Chaos Spawn, but Razor Gores pushing in. Razor Gores have really good AP, and they are rampaging into the Dragon Ogres. Lovely play with the Enfeebling Foe as well, turn this engagement in favour of the Beastmen. Chaos Spawn are going to get ripped apart, but they are just a summon, so to be honest, getting them shot by javelins isn't the worst situation, as it will protect the other units. Now, if you have an overarching look through the battlefield, Beastmen's mobility is certainly coming to play here. The Hounds are managing to gang up on the Chaos ones. Looks like we're actually going to see another Burning Head go through Chaos Spawn. Not going to do the most damage to them, but does basically wipe out some Ungor Spearhead here. But yeah, Beastmen using their mobility advantage here, pushing away a lot of these horsemen, which can really do the damage to the Chaos Spawn and Minotaurs. And it's looking pretty rough, but the Chaos Sword is even getting involved here as well, trying to stack on top of the Mirror Guard and these Dragon Ogres, knowing how important they are and how needed they are going to be in the late game here. But Minotaurs are great weapons, are bomb rushing in, and these guys have some of the coolest animations in the game, jumping headfirst into a roly-poly to pin in the Chaos Sorcerer, and it's looking very rough for the Force of Chaos here. Brave Shaman is still very healthy as well, and it looks like Ungor Spearheads are being used here just to waste ammunition, and this is what they're good for. They're shielded, they're cheap, they're expendable, and the Marauder Horsemen aren't going to get on key targets. Basically a full health unit of Chaos Spawn is going to get over here to help in the main engagement, and now the Warhounds have finished off the Chaos Warhounds. They can now jump back and quite happily chase off units. Summoner's Rage have got back. Looks like we are going to see their Chain Lightning dropped as well. Can do some, okay damage. More used to attack infantry, however. Chaos Sorcerer Lord as well had to dive in really to go kind of for a Hail Mary and try and protect the Mirror Guard and the Dragon Ogres, as they were kind of the last bastion of strength. But in return has been just dumpstered here, unfortunately, by Minotaurs with great weapons and Chaos Spawn. But Chaos still fighting strong here. They have a ton of skirmishing potential left. And if they can get all of those Javelins onto Chaos Spawn and Minotaurs, perhaps there is a way back into it for them. Especially if the Sorcerer Lord does rally, comes in with some real clutch fireballs. But it's going to be really tough. Beastmen certainly in the ascendancy at this point. Dragon Ogre's charging in here, but look at that. It's just so badass. The overarching kind of cleaving strikes coming in from the Minotaurs. Another Burning Head going down, but once again, there's no real good targets left. The Burning Head, yeah, it can kill Ungor Spearmen really well, but it's not so good up against kind of those big infantry. I think consistent fireballs would probably be able to kind of carry the day there. But very well played, and Geese Howard does take the final set 2-1, and that is going to be a victory for DBD in this clan war. Incredibly close game. And close set overall, and great games by both clans. So it's a 5-4 victory to clan DBD. All hail the mighty Geese Howard. Minotaurs and Chaos Spawn rush there, always fun to see, and did some really decent work. Very unfortunate for Dragon Knight that Chaos Sorcerer Lord did burn a ton of his own troops, but he simply didn't have the troops really to deal with the onslaught of Spawn and Minotaurs, because technically there's 5 units of Chaos Spawn because of Morga here, doing some huge damage, and Summoner's Rage and Dragon Ogres I thought maybe would be enough with the help of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord to pull that through, but it wasn't quite enough for those guys. GG. Great set. And Geese clinches the clan war for DBD. Oh, no, it doesn't matter about spelling mistakes. They know what I mean. So very well played, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was some pretty crazy stuff. Very well played to NK here at Necropolis. The Italian clan put on a fantastic show in there, going down just 5-4 with some all 3 best of 3s were 2-1s. Awesome builds from them. Awesome work as well by the DBD guys as well as usual. And yeah, massive thank you guys for taking part and wanting to play and giving the guys a good show all round. I agree, Ronan. A great time to see. Always great to see a good Beastman performance. 5-4 were incredibly tight and could have gone either way, and that could have been the end on it. Of who won and who didn't win. Yeah, nice try indeed. Very good. Yeah, it's a tough matchup to master for sure. For sure. He will avenge me. Thanks for the stream duck. No worries, man. Turin just started streaming. Well, guys, if you could all do me a massive favour, can you pop over to Turin's stream right now? He should be streaming at the Everchosen. And can you all just quack in chat? Just everyone say quack. And tell him I sent you guys over. I'd really appreciate it. He's a super cool dude. I'm sure you guys all know his content and stuff if you managed to find me. But yes, massive thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, this is the last time if you do want, or the last second if you do want to like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe, all that good standard YouTube and stuff. But massive shout out to you guys for all tuning in. You're the ones who are, you're the real MVPs here, as well as Park Map for organising this. And yeah, massive shout out to DBD for claiming the 5-4 victory. I'm going to go stuff my face with pizza and watch me some Total War action. So until next time guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.